All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I have a special interview tonight. I have the privilege of interviewing Gabriel Joseph, also known as Baby Kyrgios in our sport, for the first time ever on Facebook Live. Social media, for me, has been very important over the last 3 years in helping grow the sport of pickleball, doing my part to bring the pros up close and personal to you guys, the viewers, the players out there across the nation and the world. And I'm just super excited tonight to be able to bring you guys Gabe. He's going to be a guy that you're going to hear about and see on the pickleball scene at the pro level pretty much from this point forward. We're going to get his background. We're going to get, how he found pickleball, and a lot of different aspects of this interview are going to be based around pickleball. But man, I don't ever try to put parameters on these kind of interviews or time restrictions. We're just going to roll with the punches. We're going to make this thing awesome for you guys. Also, don't forget that we're going to do 2 giveaways. And I didn't even tell Gabriel this, but I thought about it while we were not live. And I think we should do the 30-minute session with Dane Gingrich, the giveaway for that right out of the gate for anybody who joins early, right? For the early birds. And then we'll do the other one, the paddle giveaway, probably like midway through the interview where I feel like we have a good spot. We don't want to make people, wait till the very end, but we do want to wait a little while to get that paddle away. But so I think we're going to roll with that right out of the gate. But without further ado, I'm going to bring my boy, Gabriel Joseph, on with me. Gabe, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Hey, I think you're mute. Hold on, I forgot to unmute you. Hey, sorry, that's my fault. I forgot to unmute you.
That's all good.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Scotty? How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. So we did that little teaser earlier and kind of got everybody pumped and excited for this. And this is the real deal right here, man. We're just going to dive right into it. What do you think about just doing the trivia giveaway question for Dane's 30-minute session right out of the gate for the early birds? What do you think?
Yeah, we can do it right out the gate, like you said, for the early bird. So whoever tuned in, we'll do it.
All right, let's do it. So the one right out of the gate there's 17 people watching right now. All right, here we go. We're going to pop it up there on the screen. I'm going to read it out loud. It says the trivia question for the free 30-minute phone session with Dane Gingrich is this question right here. Which of these 3 rappers is Gabe's favorite? Number one,
not the greatest. Favorite.
Not the greatest, but Gabe's personal favorite. Is it number 1, Jay-Z, number 2, Drake, or number 3, Tupac? And so as we start talking and you're doing your thing, giving us your background and everything, I'm going to let that kind of simmer, and we'll see who the first one to get that answer right. I'll be kind of reviewing that as you rock and roll. But I'm going to leave that up here while you're talking. Go ahead and, Gabe, bring everybody up to speed, because I know a lot of people on the West Coast know who you are. The pickleball world has yet to see you in full glory at the biggest tournaments, I think, yet, but we will soon. But talk to us. Let's go back before pickleball. Talk about your upbringing, the sports that you played growing up, and how your life now at 23 has brought you into the world of pickleball. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. So, born and raised in SoCal, specifically in West Hills. For those people ask me all the time, like, where is West Hills? I never heard of it. Basically, it's like 5 minutes from like Calabasas, Woodland Hills, and for all those Calabasas where like the Kardashians live and all like the celebs. But yeah, man, grew up. I'm an only child, so I was fortunate. My pops was a pretty good athlete himself. Nothing professional or anything, but just an overall, good athlete. And he was a really good baseball player. But he had a lot of patience. He took me to tennis courts when I was like 4, and we were just like that weekend warrior, just like every couple days a week, he's out there, just teaching me to play tennis. And I just right away kind of started with like a grown racket, no like junior racket or nothing. And man, he just thugged it out with me. And at the same time, I think when I was like maybe 6, 7, I picked up baseball and basketball at the same time. So I was literally on the rotation of 3. And
wow, so you were playing like fall, spring, and summer, just
Oh yeah. So I was doing like rec and stuff. Like I did. Eventually, when I got older, I did like travel basketball, and the rec league. Like if anyone's from the Valley, like West Hills baseball is like pretty competitive as it is. And I went to El Camino, so they had a really good baseball team. But yeah, man, if my dad wasn't coaching the teams at like literally, like volunteering and coaching the recreation teams, he was either driving me or scheduling me, to get a ride with somebody, carpooling. I remember those days, man, where he would like pick me up from school at whatever 3 o'clock, and we're like rushing over to practice at 3:34, and I'm like changing in the car, and it's like, those are kind of the good old like glory days. But yeah, man, a lot of credit to him. Obviously he was working full time, and he did whatever he could to get me there. So like I said, it was carpool with somebody or not. But go, sorry, Scott.
Oh no, you're fine. I didn't mean to interrupt. Like, was he ever your coach? Any
Oh
of those?
yeah, well he was my tennis coach until I hit about, I think, 11, and then I actually got like a coach. But yeah, no, he coached everything. And then like I said, being an only child, I was actually fortunate. I had a really good relationship with my parents. I still do. I'm still at home. But yeah, man, it was just like, people always ask me like, oh man, what's it like being an only child? I'm like, dude, it's honestly awesome. And to be honest, like when I'm older, I'm almost there, but like when I grow up and have kids, like my kind of motto is I want to have one kid or none. Like I think having one is like, you give that kid the full attention, and you really get that bond with them. And I've been around kids my whole life. My mom actually has a daycare at the house, so it's like, yeah. I've been around. She actually opened it for me when I was born, so she could take care of me until I got 5, where I could go to kindergarten. But yeah, just kind of having that close relationship. But yeah, no, he coached me, man. So
what kind of coach was your dad? How would you describe like your dad as a coach? Was he relaxed? Was he intense? If you guys lost or won, did you talk in the car ride home, or was it silence? Like, go ahead and talk about that. Like,
oh yeah, man, a lot of good and bad. So, like I said, the good part and bad part, which I'm sure a lot of tennis parents out there will tell you, it's like having the parent as the coach. It's good in the aspect, you have the bond. You can be a little harsher, say things a certain way. And I was pretty good about that. But yeah, those losses on the way home were brutal. That's what I kind of remember the most. And not to like cuss or anything, but man, he used to rip me just a new one on the way back all the time. But
were you a fiery competitor as a kid, or were you?
Oh hell yeah, dude! My mom always says, "Man, I'm not a good loser at all." Like, but it also depends too, because it's like, it kind of depends also, I would say, who you lose to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like as an example, like if I lose to like Dan, Roditi, shout out to Dan. It's like I have a lot of like, if I have a lot of love and respect for him, so it's like I almost don't mind losing to them in a sense. But if it's like someone and you almost have like a vendetta, and when you're kids, man, and you're young, and tennis players are known to like quote unquote like hook, man. It's just like you gotta kind of build up that fiery kind of desire, but it's like, yeah, but I'm also like kind of just naturally, like, I'm half Colombian, so that blood is fire, man. It's already hot as it is. So
are you self-motivated when you play sports, or even in life, like even in just in life?
I'm very disciplined. Yeah, very self-motivated. Like I'm always obviously trying to get better, but it's like I would say I'm more like task oriented. So you tell me to do something, I'm just gonna do it. I'm more of the actions speak volumes type of person. It's like I'm not gonna tell you, I'll just show you type. But yeah, man, no, it was cool. Like I said, those car rides on the way back were a little brutal, but it kind of changed though. Like just from tennis aspect, my dad was a pretty much self-taught tennis player, and he picked it up late. He picked it up when he was like in his 30s. So, and he had me at 38. So, and I would say he was like an in between 4.5, 5.0 player at the time when he was, still in some shape, even though he doesn't want to hear that, but he was a good player. So, we used to always hit. I mean, like I said, my credit to him, he used to really be patient with me. And it's funny, he's not the most patient person off the court, but he was definitely patient with me on the court. And, just slugging it out there, man, on the weekends. He just feeding me balls, hitting. And but like I said, yeah, I mean, we used to get into arguments. I'm not gonna lie, it used to be bad, man. We used to like hit balls at each other when we used to get angry. Like, but I'll tell you this though, if for any parents out there, the worst part was though, I remember a couple times when we used to get into arguments, he's just like, if you keep it up, we're done. We're just gonna stop playing. Not like forever, just like we're gonna pick it up and go home. I remember he did that a couple times, and it was like, okay, I stopped.
You had to tone it down.
Yeah, because like I said, you asked me about self-motivate. It's like I love the sport so much where it's like, okay, I don't want to stop. It's almost like that like macro type of thing where when you kind of argue and then it kind of builds it up a little bit and it gets gritty. So I liked it, but
no doubt, man. And I think that builds a strong relationship with you and your family and your mom and dad when you can play sports and then have those intense moments or the car rides home. When he rips you a new asshole or whatever, and then you can build streaks from that. Like as you get older, they become your parents become less, I feel like they should become less adult figures to you and more like best friends, right? You should be
Yeah. Oh,
best
for
friends with
sure.
them
For
after
sure.
you grow up. And I think those kind of times growing up, we've all been there, right? Anybody that played sports, man, I remember times like as a kid, like crying over losing sports and stuff, like stupid stuff. But it's such a big deal when you're a kid, you know, and having your parents there, good or bad, I think supporting you and showing that love and support, like even if there are those ups and downs and rough times, like, man, that's such crucial times as a kid, remembering
Yeah.
those good and bad memories.
No, for sure. And then I kind of look back. I was like, I'm not gonna say I took advantage of it. I wish I'd probably done obviously a little bit more with tennis, but like just probably just been a little bit more appreciative. But obviously, when you're a kid, you're just like that's almost like their job. It's like, oh well, dad's got to take me here, but it's like really, man. I was literally just thinking about it like an hour ago because I was like, I know this is gonna come up, so I was like, really for obviously my pops is into sports, but it's like, dude, for him to sit there. Like I said, I was doing a rotation of 3 sports. I was like, for him to sit there and just watch and, hours at a time, it's like, dude,
That's
I almost call it like community service. You know what I mean? It's like he's got to sit there and just take it. So, and like I said, I credit to him. He did everything to get me there. So, he had no problem, hitting up parents like, can you pick up my kid? Can you do this, that? You know what I mean? And
sure, because he still had a career too. He couldn't always.
Yeah. He did workers' comp for I don't know 20 something years. So he was working a 9 to 5 5 days a week. But like I said, sometimes he would take Fridays, whatever, half days and whatnot to get me there. But yeah, but, otherwise, aside from tennis, though, basketball, baseball, he was the coolest coach. But basketball, he coached a little more. But baseball, he more kind of like I said, the league I was in was already pretty competitive. So they had we had coaches, dude, that didn't even have kids on the team that were coaching. And so you had these guys that were just dedicated. And so he was more like a spectator from that aspect. But dude, it's funny, like we live we're in a residential, but we used to go out there in the middle of the street and he would just hit balls. Like actual baseballs, and there's cars parked on the on the sidewalk, and he would just hit them. I'm like, dude, you're gonna hit a car one day, and he's like, dude, no, we're not. And I would just go out there like as if I was playing outfield and just catching and rolling them back to him. And
wow,
we used to do it for hours, and we had the catcher's glove, and I would just pitch, and we used to do everything. And we got a basketball hoop here, so it was awesome. So there's no complaints.
So a couple of questions that come to mind about your sports growing up. Out of those sports you named, which one was your favorite? Like genuinely, which one did you love the most? Did you not even have a favorite?
Baseball was the least favorite. I'll say that only because I remember when I was playing, they threw me in the outfield because I had a good arm. And growing up, I was a big Dodgers fan, Angels fan. So I loved like Rafael Furcal. I wanted to play shortstop.
Man.
I always wanted to play. I forgot my man's name he was actually Colombian and he was on the Angels. The last name was Escobar, of course. Forgot though.
Not Pablo.
No, wrong one. And anyways, I remember it's like, I just wanted some action because, when we're like 10, 12, it's like, dude, for the kids to hit it deep there in the field, it's pretty much not going to happen. So I remember, dude, I wrote a letter to my coach. I was like, can I please play pitcher or just in the infield? And he threw me in there once, like out of pity, and then it kind of sucked because I had that coach 3 seasons in a row, and he's one of them who didn't have kids, so he was super into it, and then he kind of strayed me away from it, and then I kind of lost interest. So by like 7th grade, I quit. But yeah, baseball was my least favorite, and I was a decent hitter. I've been pretty much skinny my whole life, so I never hit a home run, I'll tell you that. But once I got on base, I was good money because I used to steal base pretty good. But
I bet you did.
Yeah, that was kind of it. So baseball was my least favorite. I'll say this: basketball was my favorite, I would say, but I was better at tennis. And then all my dad's buddies were all tennis players, so tennis kind of just became my favorite just because I was better at it. But growing up at the time, like middle school, high school, it was all hoops for me. Like all my best friends played hoops, so it's like if I wasn't playing tennis, I was playing hoops with them. And like I said, I played rec leagues and travel teams till pretty much high school. And then actually in the last couple of years, I played in a Calabasas adult league basketball league. And there's some there's a couple of ex NBA guys. There's different tiers of leagues. So like Ron Artest and like Nick Young, they play like in like obviously the tier 1. But if like B.A. the guy that does all the impersonations on he was actually in our league, and dude played like G League, and he had like a 10-day contract with like the Lakers, I think. So we got like guys like so, and I remember, dude, I had to guard him. Dude dropped like 50 on me, and we ended up losing the game by 1. But dude's pulling up from like literally past half court, and so I was a big hooper, but yeah, tennis was my favorite just because, like I said, I just happened to be better at it, and it pretty much, I would say, in the grand scheme of things, it definitely suit my game the most. Just
How much
physicality wise.
how much work did you have to put in tennis to be good, or were you a natural at tennis?
I would say I was pretty natural because, like I said, dude, my dad pretty much coached me till I was 11, and then
When did you
I really
start?
had
Like
no.
2 or 3 years old? Did you say?
I
Did you
started at
start?
like 4.5, and we were just, dude, we didn't have a court in our backyard, so we just go up. There's like 3 parks that, if anyone's from the valley, like, like there's a couple of my high school buddies that end up playing D1 now. Like we all grew up just like literally hustling at the park for courts. And yeah, it was just me and him. And but I'll tell you one thing, though, I used to watch a lot of tennis too on TV, and back in the day, we used to have DVDs. We used to get like the Masters 1000s. And I remember growing up, I used to watch like Nalbandian, and I think I was like 6 at the time. And I watched Nalbandian play Federer at the Masters 1000s, and I just remember his two-handed backhand. So I remember after I watched it, I'm like, Dad, we're going to the courts right now. And then I just start like ripping backhands. I was just like, it inspired me a lot to play. So playing and watching just influenced me a lot. So yes, I guess you could say I was a natural, I guess. But but I was also like just a kind of natural athlete, so that helped too. I was pretty coordinated, I'll say.
For sure, and
There's
quick.
there
I
wasn't
feel
much
like
I couldn't do.
yeah, I feel like you're very quick. I haven't actually met you in person, but like just seeing your stature and your physique, like you seem like a very, very agile, quick, athletic guy. So I guess growing up as a kid, that was the same way.
Yeah, I kind of got like that slender soccer belt. That's what everyone tells me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty quick. It's funny. I'm pretty quick, but I'm also very good like long distance. I used to, when I was in high school, and we used to have like off season, I used to work out a little bit with like the cross country team, and just jog and run. And my mom runs pretty much every day. So whenever I'm not playing, I'm always active doing something. So I'll always try to run or something just to get in. But
I
yeah,
love it.
I'm not into lifting weights though. You can't pay me to lift weights.
Well, you and I, we probably have a lot in common, but one of the things we definitely have in common is that we don't like to work out with weights. Because
Yeah, I'm not into the weights. It's
I'm the
not for
same
me.
way. I'm the same way, man. I'll do some push-ups and some sit-ups or whatever, but I'm not trying to go to the gym and pump iron like
Yeah, me
Ed and
neither.
Lika. Have you seen my buddy Eden that's
Yeah,
sponsored with Hard?
he looks like a, what do you call it, dude? What almost like a
Drago?
cave. Yeah, just
Drago?
almost like a caveman, dude. The dude's huge.
Dude, he's huge. He's 6'6",
He's like a power
240.
lifter.
Yeah, he works out every single day in the gym. Like he would right now, I guarantee you it's killing him not to be in the gym every day, probably because they shut all the gyms down. But I guarantee
Yeah.
he's found somebody's house that he can work out at.
Yeah, and salute to those, those people that like to work out, man. I mean, I'd tip my hat to you. Different strokes for different folks. I just, if you ask me to do 8 hours of cardio as opposed to like 1 hour of lifting, I'll take the 8 hours of cardio, in a heartbeat. It's just, and it's funny because like I said, all my high school buddies were hoopers, so they love to work out and they would bug me. And we used to go to like 24-hour in LA Fitness, and they're like, there's indoor basketball courts. So I'm just thinking we're gonna go play hoops. They're like, no, let's work out then play. I'm like, dude, no, like,
not gonna happen.
I'll be in there. You catch me in there. I'll be hooping. So
I love it. Okay, while we got a quick break here, let's talk about the trivia. We do have a winner, and it's actually interesting. The first person to get it right, well, let me say this. The first person to answer was Detailed Dawn, and he said, I think he meant Tupac. He put Tupad, but I think he meant Tupac. So this was the first answer put up there on the screen. Can you see it on the screen right there?
Yeah, I'm gonna sign him on my phone real quick. Let me see.
Okay. So Tupad, but that's not the right answer.
That is not the right answer.
Detailed Don did not get it correct, even though he was the first one to answer. It was actually Gene Click who said number 2, which was Drake. And that is the correct answer. And actually, ironically, Gene, the last interview with Joe Tony, I believe he won the free Selkirk paddle with Joe Tony.
And he was also from Canada, right? I don't know if Joe's from Toronto specifically, but he's from the 6.
Yeah, Joe is. Gene Click, though, is I think from OKC area, Oklahoma City. But yeah, so Gene got it right. So tell everybody why, out of those 3, what makes Drake your favorite? Like, why is he your favorite artist?
Oh man. All right. Well, fun fact, I'm actually half Jewish. So Drake is Jewish. That's one. But no, anyways, now I'm a big rap, hip hop culture dude. So growing up, I was big, obviously like Jay-Z, Snoop, those guys were like my favorite. Tupac as well, Eminem. But those guys, I would say, kind of more like raised me. And then I grew up literally like I seen Drake evolve. I remember in 6th grade, my buddy and I had I think it was an iPod Touch. and we used to do LimeWire or FrostWire. And my buddy, he's like, dude, you gotta listen to this dude Drake, man. And he was playing. It was from oh my god, it's from So Far Gone, but it was before he even had a mixtape out. So it was I mean, obviously he had prior mixtapes, but I didn't even know him at the time. And he was just this kid from Degrassi. So I was like, all right, yes, I'm checking it out. And I remember he had this song, I'm Going In, with Young Jeezy and Lil Wayne. And I'm like, dude, this dude's gonna be hard. Then he had Best I Ever Had. Then he took off. But I'm more of an underground dude. So, you know, back then it's like you had to really discover music. And I used to still buy CDs at the time, but I remember I was like, dude, this dude's hard. And then I used to just download all this stuff off of LimeWire, FrostWire. Then and then I would, like I said, you had to find music. So I used to get his unreleased stuff. And yeah, man, I'm a big fan. And to me, I don't get why people hate on him, man. I don't get it. He's just like, he can't be denied. Like, he's just like, I'm not gonna say the GOAT. He is one of the greatest. Like, he's like, I know people don't like LeBron either. Like, they're so good. He's so good. Like, you can't deny him.
You can't deny it. You can hate on him, but you can't deny it.
Yeah, and quick little fun fact, I got a couple buddies that live in Hidden Hills, and I've seen Drake's house. I've been to like the gate. I haven't been inside, but I'm that, like, he's one person I actually want to meet. Him and like I would say like AI Allen Iverson is like someone I actually want to meet in person. But yeah, man, he just seems like a cool dude too. So I want to meet him. I have a buddy who actually met him in the comments, and it was hilarious. His daughter was having a bar mitzvah. And like I said, Drake's Jewish, so he got Drake to go on the phone, and he's like, "Can you say like, you know, like Mazel Tov, you know, like congrats on having a bar mitzvah?" And he got him to do it.
No way.
And, yeah, so you know, he's just my favorite. And yeah, man, I'm a big fan. Like, I'm a fanboy. I'm not gonna lie. So you know.
I love it. I love it.
But I love, you know, Jay-Z is one of the GOATs too, and then I love Tupac. I would say Jay-Z, Pac are easily I think the two greatest, and obviously one of my two favorites. So
for sure.
But yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad Gene Clip got the 30-minute free session with Dane Gingrich, the mental toughness coach. I know Gene will be excited about that. So congrats, Gene. All right, and let's get back on track with where at 23 years old, now you're playing pickleball, but what led up to that? Like, how, like, take everybody through what you were doing at the time and how you found pickleball and how it came into your life.
All right, so it all kind of like comes together. Basically, obviously I met like Jesse Irvine, Scott Crandall, and then my buddy Julio Rivera, who, like I said, he runs the underground pickleball and underground tennis movement. I met these guys in 2017. We were playing this game called Live Ball, which is basically like king of the court kind of tennis. And you know, kind of long story short, we'll kind of get back to it, but I met them in 2018. We met through a mutual buddy, Eric Lee, who was, I guess, a childhood friend of Christine. And you know, he got Jesse hooked on a pickle. He's like, you got to do this, you'll be good. Because he had known we both played paddle tennis as well, which is, you know, kind of close to pickle in a sense. But anyways, Jesse kind of dragged us to play. But how I actually originally got into pickle, though, kind of backtrack, it was 2016. It was December of 16. And my buddy Mike was, he had a membership at what's now the Mamba Academy for Kobe. It was called Sports Academy at the time. So he calls me up. He's like, dude, you got to come play this game, pickleball. You know, I'd heard of it, seen it on YouTube. I'm like, all right, whatever. This is cute. Sure, I'll come try it. So I come there, play it. We're in a gym, you know, with tape lines. And if you know me, I slide on the court. So like I was sliding on the court, you know, literally busting the lines up. I'm like, you know, what kind of game is this? So we played a couple times, and I was going to Columbia that week. So I played twice, came back, and then I took my dad the second time to play. He didn't like it. So whatever, I go to Columbia. So my buddy Mike that took me out there in 16, he's like, dude, let's play this tournament in Simi Valley. You know, whatever, we can play 4-0, 4-5, whatever. And dude, he's going to probably watch this. In all, like, he was such a good family friend. In all my power, if I could just say no, I would have tried so hard, but I had to say yes. So I said yes. And so the tournament was supposed to be like in January of 17. There was rain. It got postponed. And I'm like, yes, thank God. I'm like, hopefully it just gets canceled. We end up having to play it, and I didn't even have a paddle or nothing. So I show up, and the thing's at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm an early riser. I'm like, dude, for this on a Saturday, like, Jesus Christ, like, I want to sleep. And we get out and play, and we might have won the first match. I don't remember, maybe lost the second, whatever. We lose quick, and then I didn't even know there was like double play, you know, backdraw. So I'm like, dude, I'm out of here. Like, I gotta go. I don't even remember what I told him. I probably made some excuse. I was like, I wasn't feeling it. And he had to go anyways. I think his dog was sick at the time. And so I kind of got out of that.
Bolted?
Yeah, we bolted after that. Yeah, because I didn't even know. So that's how I actually first got into it. So I played, and I never touched a paddle after that. So I played maybe 2 times. And so that was 17. And then when Jesse got us back out there playing, it was like, I want to say November of 18. We had gone out to Memorial Park at Santa Monica, and we were playing kind of just rec. And same thing, like I said, I didn't have a paddle. And one of the guys there that was kind of letting people borrow paddles gives me like this winky dink, you know, it was a Selkirk, but it was like one of those like boo-boo, like $30. It was like, you know, the equivalent of like a Costco racket or like a Target racket. I'm like, dude, this is not making me want to play having like some boo-boo racket. So anyway, so we played. I'm like, all right, this is cool, whatever. And then we actually go on vacation. It was a crew of us. It was actually me, Jesse, Scotty, and Jesse's sister. We ended up going to Barbados for vacation. And you know, she's talking about how she's gonna take the pickleball serious. So Scotty and I, we just like, all right, dude, let's do this. So whatever, we like literally sign up for like our memberships there, you know, in the US APA or you know, whatever it's called. And I think we played, our first tournament was the Town Crown, I think, at Simi, or it was one of the just early tournaments at Simi. It was like in February. And we played the 4 or 5. We won the first time. And by then, it's funny, I'd actually called up my friend Mike, because like I said, I have a paddle. So I was like, dude, can I get one of your Selkirks? So he sold me the Selkirk for like $20-$30, and it was a nice one. It was like, I think it was like the 1C plus. I don't know, it was like a white one. It was good. Like I sent it to Jesse. I'm like, dude, you know, is this paddle any good? Because I didn't know anything.
Yeah, you didn't know details.
Yeah, like I mean, I know anything about like tennis rackets because I used to work at a tennis shop, and I know like everything about them. But I was like, I don't know anything about the paddles. So I was using that. We won. And then we played a few more tournaments after that. And then it kind of, you know, we just took off. And then like we met Treff, like Ryan Treff, who's also on Team Electrum. I met him in January. And it was one of those, it's so weird. It was
2018.
18 no, I'm sorry, going into 19.
Oh, going into 19 then. Okay.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I don't really count 18 because we maybe played, I get like maybe two times, you know. Okay. Really for me, it kind of started 19. So it was weird in LA, you know, it doesn't rain that much, but we had like a rainy kind of winter. So we end up going to this gym in like Agoura, Calabasas, and we played for like, I was on winter break. So we played for like a week straight. And yeah, that was like leading up to the Simi tournament. So it was fun, you know, it was cool. I was still kind of trying to get used to it because obviously I'm a tennis player, and like Scotty, Jess, they'll all tell you, like, I have the most extreme grip in tennis. Like I hit a lot of spin. So I had to completely change my game for pickle. I had to play like continental, and you know, I still wanted to kind of not bang necessarily, but it's like I wasn't patient with the dinks. It's like I knew what I was supposed to be doing, but I'm like, I just, you know, when you watch, like, why don't they just hit the ball hard? You know, you're just kind of in that like that neutral perspective. You're like, why don't they just bang the ball when they're at the kitchen? And then it's like, okay, I get it. Well, your margin for error is not that high. And yeah, it just took more kind of adjusting and kind of building the right habits. But yeah, after that, it just kind of took off. And then, you know, I got fortunate enough. That's when I ended up meeting Shelton at Memorial Park, where they had the Santa Monica West Coast Classic. Yeah. And, you know, we kind of chopped it up, and that's kind of where it took off with Electrum from there. So, but yeah, man, it was a cool little journey. I'll be honest, I wasn't sold at first at all, especially the first time I played with my buddy Mike, you know, in 17 or, you know, 16, 17, I was like, yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Dude, we were probably 0-2 or 0-1.
You went, let's see, you played men's 4.0. It was July 8th, which is actually my birthday, July 8th, 2017. You guys lost to Reggie Collins and Nicholas Collins. Yeah. Listen to this now. 13.
It was July. No, it had to be earlier. No, maybe January.
It says July 8th, 2017. I could be. I mean, it could be a typo.
Yeah, I think it was early. It was early. I remember it was in the beginning of the year. It was beginning of the year.
But either way, you guys lost 13-11 and 14-12. So both games were epic games, apparently. And then you just decide to bolt. You just take off.
Yeah, you know, it's all right. So the truth was, actually, I was like I said, I just met the whole crew. You know, the underground tennis crew. So Julio, so I was supposed to play live ball right after. And I think I told Mike, I was like, yo, I got a lesson and I got to go. But I really just didn't want to play, man, to be completely honest. I was like, it was already like enough going out there and playing, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling this.
And then when was the first time you played with Scott Crandall? Like what was that?
That was like February of 18, I think. Or I'm sorry, 19. February of 19.
February of 19. Okay.
Yeah. So it was beginning of the year.
like talk about that. What was that like to play with Scott Crandall for the first time? Did you guys do well? Did you not? I mean, while you're talking, I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, it was so fun. Well, like I said, man, we like to be a little loud with our clothing. So, Scotty, oh my
Speaking
God.
of the devil, look who it is.
What's up, Gabe?
Oh my God, you and Scotty, I was contemplating telling him what our attire was that match at Simi. Our clothing attire.
I was contemplating wearing that shirt.
Oh, dude, you should have. Dude, so Scotty, you know, is just the legend. So Scotty gets us these how should I say, these kind of over revealing shirts of some very fine women. So we wear it to the tournament, and whatever. We got a lot of compliments on them. And then the tournament director's husband comes up to us like, dude, I love the shirts, but kind of getting a lot of complaints. Do you guys mind kind of switching them out? So I didn't have another shirt, and I remember it was kind of cold, so I just threw on my like my jacket over and just played the tournament with it. But yeah, dude, that was our first tournament, but it was a lot of fun. I remember we came out guns blazing. We didn't lose a match, and then I think in the gold medal we lost a game, and then we won the third. But it was fun. And I remember, I'll never forget, we went out to get drinks after at some Mexican joint up the corner, and Scotty and I were like, it was almost like we won the U.S. Open. It was just like, it was a great time. We got like margaritas. So,
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking at it right here. It's the President's Cup, Simi Valley, hosted by Pickleball United. It was looks like it was in West Hills, California. You guys played 4.5 19+ division, and you won your first game 15-3 against Robert Jennings and Brad.
Yeah, against Robbie.
Yep. And then you won 15-6 against Jake Boyer and Lee Quigley. Then you beat Casey Kalinak.
Yeah.
And I can't see that other name. It's too long. Moucheron. I don't know who that is. 15-3. You guys smoked him. And then it looks like Chris. Okay, yeah, Chris. And then it looks like in the gold medal match, you guys played Elliot Oliver and Derek Debo, yeah. So Derek and Elliot, you guys lost 11-8, then you won 11-4, and then an epic third game, 12-10 win. Like, what was going on in that third game, Scott? How did you guys what was up with that third game?
I think that was the first time ever, I would say. Well, not ever, but Scotty and I definitely looked at each other like, okay, like, dude, what the hell's going on? Like, we got to figure this out. I don't know. It was just close. I don't know.
I can't hear.
It was I remember, I think like they just had some really good like reactions to our volleys or something, and like a couple points we should have like won. It was just like almost caught us by surprise. We're like, what the hell? Like, all right, they won it. And then third game, I don't know. We kind of just I think we figured out. We got on a little spurt towards the end, and we figured it out. But yeah, I don't really remember totally the match, but I just remember it was close, and I'll never forget this. There was one point where it was a close line call or something, and Derek, who I'm super cool with now, it was just at the time, was like he gave me some smart ass remark. Was like, oh, like, you know, like you trying to be like, you know, Mr. Hotshot now or something. I don't even remember what happened. It was some like intense point. And then next point, Scotty hits like this good.
It's not working.
Scotty hits like this good dink, and Derek pops up this lob, and then I just tag him, and it was a little stare down after, but it was hilarious, and I'll never forget that. And that kind of, I think we won the next point, and then we won the match, but it was hilarious.
That's awesome, man. I think Scotty's having a little trouble. Scotty, can you hear us?
Stare down after, but it was hilarious.
Scotty, can you hear us?
I can't hear.
Okay, I guess Scott. I don't know if Scott can't. Hey, Scott, I'm gonna take you off and then bring you back on and see if we can get you on. Okay, so we'll come back with him in a second.
That's hilarious.
Dude, that's awesome. I brought him on, but I don't know.
I wasn't expecting that. That is just hilarious.
I wish he couldn't hear us, I think is what it was. I could hear him.
Yeah, I could hear him too. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't hear us. Maybe he's got something muted on his end. But
come on, Scotty, you get to pay your internet bill this month or what, dude?
I think he did. I think he forgot to pay his internet bill. But we'll try to bring him back on in a few minutes. But all right, so shifting gears though, we got a question. Actually, before we get to the guest questions, let's talk about the Baby Kyrgios nickname and how that came about. And is that related to pickleball only, or is that something you got before pickleball?
No. It was way before pickleball. So I remember it was 2014, and I think Kyrgios had just gone on his run. He had beaten, who did he beat? I forgot who he beat leading up to playing Rafa. And anyways, he was, he was obviously making a name for himself. And I'm like, dude, like this guy's got some like swag. I'm like, this dude's cool. And, obviously I'm a big, obviously tennis fan. I love all the players and stuff. But like one thing I've kind of been critical about tennis is like, it's just sometimes it can get, I don't want to say boring. I feel like sometimes the players don't have such outgoing personalities. And sometimes it gets a little plain. And I'm like, dude, like, this dude's got a little earring, whatever, a little stud. He can ball, he can play. And he wasn't just a one-hit like wonder, just because a lot of those guys, they'll beat Rafa, whatever, in a tournament and just kind of fall off, And he was consistent with it. And I remember the dude I'll never forget, he had like a little 7 in his hair, almost like, I think he was trying to go for like the Ronaldo haircut.
Yeah.
So I remember I used to get buzz cuts. I used to buzz my hair and I was like, dude, I'm going to grow it out and get kind of like a little mohawk. And then I had did this, like the design he did, and I'd actually tweeted it at him, and then he liked it. And then whatever, I had tweeted at him a bunch because, like I said, he was still fresh on the scene. And then he'd actually followed me on Twitter, and then I DM'd him a couple times. He'd actually hit me back up. And then quick little story. I think it was 2016. I met him in 15 at Indian Wells, and then I met him in 16. And it's funny. So he's on, you guys have been there for Pickle, of course, for the Nationals. So he's on like practice court, I think like 8 or 14. One of them where there's like the white picket fence where you can actually sit. It's almost like a mini stadium.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I sat right up close and he's hitting. I'm sitting in like the second row. They had the first row knocked off. And while he's hitting, he looks at me in the stands. And he's like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, and he called me by my first name. And I'm just like, yo, what's up? And everyone looked at me. The practice court was like, cool. They're like, dude, like, you know him? And I'm just like, kind of like, he follows me on Twitter, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, man. And honestly, man, I tell people all the time, like, dude, I'm a big fan of him. Obviously, like some of the stuff he's done, like when he like said the shit to like Wawrinka at the time and certain things he's done, I don't obviously totally agree with. But like, I'd say overall, like, to me, like I kind of compare to basketball. Like, I'm a big Iverson fan. He's the one who got me to play hoops, like the tats, the earring. He had the cornrows. I'm like, dude, and he's a little guy and he can ball. I'm just like, I'm like, I can almost see myself in him a little bit. So I'm like, if I was a tennis player, I'm like, I'd want to be like Kyrgios. Like the dude's, he's just got so much talent. It's insane. So, but anyways, to answer the question how I got it, I used to work at a tennis shop, and so like I said, I'd grown out the hair. I did the design. And everyone's just like, dude, you look like Kyrgios. Like when I'm in the tennis environment, they're like, you look like Kyrgios. So I'm like, all right. So I just kept getting it. And I kind of try to mimic my game like him in tennis. And obviously my strokes don't look like his exactly, but like I kind of try to imitate him a little bit. And I just kind of ran with it. And then it got to a point where like everyone's just like, that's like Baby K. And then when I got to Pickle, that's all everybody knew me as. And then I remember I'd seen people do nicknames on the pickleball thing for the tournament. So I'm like, all right, I want to put a nickname. But it's funny. I don't know. I think I did it wrong where I put the nickname and it was my first name.
No, it does that. It does that.
Yeah. So the Baby Kyrgios was my first name. So at all the tournaments, they'd be like Baby Kairos, like to the desk. And I'm just like, oh man, I got to change this. Cause like, and then people at the score sheet, when the refs
were all confused.
Yeah. They're like, who's this? They would just call me Baby. Like, what's her name? Rosie. She would always call me Baby. She's like, baby. I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I got to change this. So
that's where it came from. It came from the tennis world, but it translated over into pickleball. Because that's the first time I heard of you was Baby Kyrgios, not Gabriel Joseph. So I wasn't even sure who you were. And then on top of that, I followed enough tennis, Gabe, to know that like, I knew who he was, and I knew he pulls some antics on the court, like the underhand serve, and he just has like a fiery flair, and like he's not afraid to speak his mind. So I thought, like, is this Gabe guy like kind of like an asshole, or what? Like, what's the deal here? But to be honest, no, you're complete opposite.
Yeah, like is Gabe this douchebag too? Like, oh man, do I want to interview this guy? You're like, I don't know what he's gonna bring.
But that is kind of the first impression that I had. I heard of you as Baby Kyrgios, and then you're not. You have a flashy look. Like when you see the pictures and all that stuff, like you look flashy. And so I'm thinking, like, is this dude really like, is he a hot shot or whatever? But
is he like just like a swag god out there just trying to be a little poser? Yeah.
But there is a picture, I think, on your Facebook page, right? Of you and
Nick. Yeah. That's the first time I met him. Yeah. That was that was March of 15, I think.
And did you tell him that? Did you have the nickname at that time or no?
No, did I? I don't know. You know, whenever I got Instagram is when that was another thing too. So when I got Instagram, because I didn't have Instagram up until 14. So I think I was like, man, I need a good Instagram handle. And honestly, the way I got it too was I was like, if you watch tennis, you know, Grigor Dimitrov, they always call him Baby Federer. So I was like, man, I need a cool Instagram handle. And I didn't want to be just basic, like the real Gabriel Joseph or Gabriel Joseph one. I'm like, dude, that's just so like boring.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, if I was a rapper, what would my rap name be? Like, I gotta want to come up with something good.
Baby K?
Nah. If anything, it'll probably be like Flawless G or something. I don't know. I got to come up with something.
You gotta come up with something.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was like, man, I need a good Instagram handle. And obviously, like, you know, I have high school buddies who don't play, like I said, don't play tennis, and I have a lot of just people that don't play tennis. So they're not gonna know Kyrgios, but I was like, majority of the people I, you know, communicate, conversate with, they all play tennis, hang out with, they all play tennis, no tennis, watch. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna go with Baby Kyrgios. And I was like, I just need a cool name. So I went with that. And I was like, you know, it's pretty creative, I think, original. Kind of stole it from, I think I stole it from Brad Gilbert because he did Baby Dimitrov or Baby Federer for Dimitrov. So kind of stole it in a way, but I was like, you know, I got to come up with something.
It still works.
Yeah. And the thing is too, man, I see on Instagram, man, like people got like these, like, not to like, you know, shit on anybody, but everyone's got like their own pickleball account and it's like their own Instagram. I'm just like, dude, you know, I'm just like, I just got one and it's just me. It is what it is.
I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit to a couple of the questions from the people watching. Looks like Tommy Aparicio says, Gabriel, have you ever played pickleball in Colombia when you visit your grandparents? That's a great question.
Yeah, so yes and no. Not actual pickleball, but so just that, you know, so my mom's Colombian, so we go every year. So I've been like 21 times. And you know, this year, obviously, since this was the first year I just started playing pickle, we have kind of a big farm, you know, we got some acres. So I took my Electrum paddles, and like I said, my dad played. So we would just volley every day out on the grass and just volley back and forth, just like kind of hand reactions. But no, have actually played, you know, legit pickleball? No, it doesn't even exist out there yet. I would assume like even tennis, like, you know, obviously it's, you know, it's kind of a third world country. So, you know, even tennis is pretty like a luxurious sport. And it's funny, actually, I got a cousin who was born and raised there. And actually she just came to, she's not at the University of Michigan. She's at a small little school in Michigan playing Division II tennis. She got a scholarship.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, she grew up, you know, kind of, I don't want to say like upper class wealthy, but, you know, she had the luxury to play tennis. It's not one of those sports that's really available to everybody. That's why everyone kind of plays soccer. So yeah, but no, I haven't played pickle out there yet, but everyone, all my family members out there, they're kind of like, oh, like when I was out there in December, like, what is that thing you play? Like, is it cool? Like, you know, you're making money, like, you know, because they're like, you know, they're like in America, you know, they're like, oh, you're in America. Like, are you making some money doing it? Like, you know, you got to send something out here.
I mean, that's a legit question, I think, you know?
Yeah. But nah, man, but it'd be cool to get it out there for sure. And, you know, we definitely probably, we'll figure that out in the future. It's like I said, I go there every year, so we'll figure something out.
I love it. So actually, speaking of the devil, Ed Enriquez says this guy is Nick Kyrgios' twin brother. So even Eden thinks that you are as well. So
yo, you know what's hilarious? He says that. So when we were at Golden State, I'm just walking by, and there was like a little tent area, and by like the check-in where the computer was, I don't know who it was. Some lady's like, "Hey, you're like that Kyrgios fella. He's your brother, isn't he?" Like, he's like, you know, you guys are related. And I'm just like, nah, he's not. I'm like, I don't have any siblings. He's like, she really thought I was his brother. I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. But no, we're not related.
That's actually really funny. I love it. All right, next question or comment says, Joe Tony, our boy Joe says, who cuts his hair? Gabe, I need a fade. Hit me up. So he wants to know who your barber is, man.
Yeah, so I'll say this. I've been blessed with Corona. Honestly, I've been keeping myself busy. I haven't been too bored. The one thing that's pissed me off, I've only been able to see my barber once, and he had to slide me in, you know, because not essential can't be open. But my barber and I have a really good relationship. So I was like, bro, I need to cut bad. Like, you know, I've done like a month, and anyone knows me, I usually get a cut like once every 2-3 weeks. So I was like, it was getting fuzzy, and it's like it's kind of now, but I was like, you know. Anyways, my barber Enzo, he has a shop in Tarzana. If anyone's ever out in LA, and not to be a hotshot here, he cuts like celebs and he cuts NBA players. So he cuts like a lot of the guys on the Clippers, no pun intended, Lakers, he cuts like the rappers to like the game and a few other, just high profile people. But and he also cuts John Sally. He's in there all the time. I don't know if I should have said that, but sorry, John. Anyways, yeah, man. But he's such a good barber, man. I love him to death. And he only takes appointments on an app, so he's pretty booked up. So I kind of feel for him because he hasn't been able to work, and he actually just had a second baby. So Enzo, if you're watching this, my man, congrats on your baby girl. And yeah, man, it's pretty dope. Not to get too far into it, but it's funny. He used to cut at a shop literally 5 minutes from my house, and he was just one of the barbers. And it's pretty cool because I got to see him evolve. And I posted it on my Instagram, and he ended up getting his own shop in a really nice area. And he's actually trying to get a second one, I believe now. So it's just dope, man. And one of the reasons I wear like the gun clothes and try to tag it with the Electrum stuff is I try to support small businesses, man. And I don't even like to say small business because I really want people to evolve and expand into something big, but it's just kind of just supporting your own, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man, absolutely. What does a haircut cost with your boy? What, like if somebody was going to get in on that, like what does that cost?
You know what? It is without giving the prices away, because like I said, I've been a client of his for like 5 years, so I get the homie hookup, but he is reasonable. You depending on how you tip.
Like if I just came in, if somehow I was in town and I was gonna get a random haircut with him, which would never happen.
35 with tip.
He's not bad. He's
not too bad. No, it's affordable. I wouldn't, even on my college budget, I wouldn't be going every couple of weeks if it was too extreme. But I'll tell you this, man, and I haven't gone to too many barbers, but dude, he's the best. And I love him to death, man. Like there's like this joke on the internet, man. It's like the guys stay faithful to like two things, like their girl and their barber. They never cheat like on either. So that's
awesome. So true, man. So true. You don't want to mess around with your barbers.
Nah.
They're hard to come by. Good ones. All right, Mo Heath, who is the owner and founder of Electrum Pickleball. He's already made a comment on here. So welcome, Mo Heath. We're glad you're joining in. And he says, Gabriel, you're going to get to the #1 in men's pro pickleball. So glad your parents invested in your athletic potential. So great comment, very kind words. And that's yet to be seen, right? We don't know 100%. Nobody knows.
Not yet.
But,
I'm coming for the throne. But, shout out to Mo Heath, of course, because obviously, without him, honestly, this isn't – I wouldn't say this isn't possible, but if I'm being 1,000% honest, I do love pickleball, but it does cost money, as you and everyone knows who travels to these tournaments and play. And it's a little hefty, you know what I mean? Like the tournament fees, dude, the tournament fees alone, are depending how many events you play, are a couple $100, and you got to include airfare, how to get around in the city. So honestly, man, without Mo Heath, Shelton, Ryan, even Scott, I got to thank Scotty for playing with me and getting me, to win. And, even Jessie, because she knew Shelton, hooked it up. Without them, this isn't possible. So, really, big shout out to them. And, you guys have all my loyalty and respect for sure. But yeah, man, no, definitely I want to come for the throne. Obviously, Ben, much respect to Ben and Tyson, dude. Those guys are certified killers, dude. They're just solidified in what they do. So I got a lot of time to come. And, like I said, man, Scotty's my boy. So I'll never forget. We had this conversation like right before Mesa, and we were on the way back, I think from like Pasadena or something. And I was telling Scotty and Jesse, I'm like, dude, like I'm so hyped, for the tournament. Like I think I'm gonna do well. And like I said, Scotty's like my uncle, dude. So he's like, dude, Gabe, I think you can be really good. But he's like, really, there's just Ben and Tyson and everybody else. There's like Fad, all those guys. So he's like, until you beat one of those guys, it does not that it doesn't mean anything, but like you really just got to get there.
That's right.
So like I think I'll definitely by the end of the year or whenever we get back to this, I'll definitely be top 3 or 5, hopefully. But like I said, I'm more of an action speak volumes person. So until I actually do it, I don't want to come up here and just talk shit and be like, yeah, I can do it. I mean, obviously I have faith in myself and I think I can do it, but it's a matter of actually proving myself. So
well, and that's the thing I was gonna say is that even though you've been playing technically since 2017, it feels like you've just really started taking it more serious over the last, probably six months or so. I don't know if that's accurate, but you tell me if that's wrong. But like,
yeah, but I really say I started 19, but like really the pro tournaments, I would say towards the summer of 19 was when I really started playing the pro events, in dubs and singles. But yeah, like obviously I'm still pretty new, of course, but
yeah. So you haven't been playing pro events even a year yet.
No, not really. But like I said, man, like you and I were talking about earlier before we started, it's like these guys like for like someone like Jay. I remember right after Mesa, he went to Florida to play that tournament, and then he came back to play the California Open. So, not only is he practicing and getting good reps in, but he's playing the top guys. It's like, kudos to him, because, you're getting the best of the best, on a consistent basis. And, that's really what it's about, especially like he's obviously very good tennis player. So, it's just kind of getting that experience. And obviously, Ben's younger than me, but dude's got, 3-4 more years in the game than I do. So he knows the ins and outs, and he's got his brother Colin to play with, he's also a very nice player. So,
absolutely,
it's just a matter of really getting those reps in. And, it's just the little nuances, it's not much, I would say, that separates us. It's just more like, just staying kind of 10 toes down and just figuring it out,
For sure. Is there any preference for you in pickleball, singles versus doubles? Do you prefer one over the other? Talk about your experience in pickleball at the pro level and which one you've enjoyed the most. And also talk about, if you don't enjoy doubles as much, do you plan to continue growing in that field and that kind of thing? Because I have a feeling you lean towards singles a little bit, but talk about that whole experience with that.
Yeah. I'll say this. It's just one of those things. I'm better at singles, and I'll say this why. Like you even said earlier before we start, you never even see me play, but you're like, all right, I've looked at your, physique, you're fast. It's just my athleticism, I would say, in dubs is just kind of taken away. So I would say that kind of hurts me in a bit. I do love dubs though. Like obviously I want to be really good at dubs as well. And I do think I can be good at dubs. It's just, same thing, a matter of getting reps in. I've really only played a couple pro events in dubs. But I just like singles more because it's funny. It's funny in tennis. I actually like dubs more because you get the team camaraderie, but in singles, in pickle, I would say I just like it more because I get to use my physicality and in dubs, I don't want to say useless, but it's just not as prevalent. You know what I mean? So, I would just say I like singles more, but no, I love dubs as well. And like, shout out to, Dan, Scotty, even Mike Shinzaki, guys I've played with. Like I said, I love to play. You and I were speaking earlier. I love to play with my, someone I have an organic relationship with, and playing and, even winning with those guys. It just makes it that much better. Like I'll never forget, man. Like I said, you asked me earlier, like, am I pretty self-motivated? I get fired up or even upset. I usually get very upset when I lose, not like what would I call throw my toys out the crib upset, like, get hissy fit. But, like when Dan and I played at Mesa and we went, I think 3-2 or 4-2, whatever. I literally talked to Dan, whatever, right after. I'm like, dude, I'm not even upset we lost. Like we played well. I had a great time playing with you. And I can genuinely say that, not even just on here. Like I said that to his face. Like, it's just, I really had a good time. Like I wasn't upset we lost, and it would have been nice to win one more, but it's like, I just wasn't upset. Like it was fun. I had a great time. And like I said, he's just a great person. I have a lot of respect for him. So it's like, it was just a good experience, and that makes it that much better. So no, I do love the dubs. Dubs is fun. And I kind of have to like it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. You kind of have to like it because why?
I kind of have to like it too, because every time we play rec, nobody wants to play singles. So it's like, I got to play dubs. So
is that what you found too? Because I found that out as well when I got into the sport, that the overwhelming majority of people that play pickleball don't really enjoy singles.
Yeah, man, I remember I asked Scotty a couple times to play singles. We did it once. He's like, never again. This is torture. The first couple times I played with Jessie, it was torture for her. She's like, dude, you're too fast. It's just annoying to play you. Like, it's just no fun.
When you just so everybody watching knows who you're talking about Scott Crandall there,
Scott
and
Crandall,
then Jesse Irvine.
Yeah, but like Scotty will play like skinny singles with me or something, and that's still fun too. I have no problem with that. It was tough in the past to kind of find games. Like for instance, like Dan, like I said, I'm out in the Valley, so I'm in West Hills. He's out in I think he lives in Newport, so it's it's like an hour and a half, and anyone from LA knows that hour and a half is not an hour and a half. That's 2 and some change, and it's just more of a, like I said, kind of a convenience thing. And it's just more of, for instance, like it's just more of a day commitment. Like if I go out to Newport, it's like, okay, I'm going to stay there no matter how long we play. We could play for 4 or 5 hours, but it's like, I'm pretty much going to stay there kind of the whole day and then wait till, traffic dies down or whatever, just spend the day there because I'm already out that distance. There's no rush to go back. So it's kind of just spreading that out. But I got lucky, and shout out to these guys. My boy Quinn Borchard, who's also a very nice player. He was a very good tennis player. And my boy Matthew, it's so funny. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But anyways, it's like I said, it's a small world. He grew up, he was a childhood friend of Tyson's. They went to school together.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so we actually we work at this this little school over here called Viewpoint. We teach high school tennis, and he knew Tyson. Anyways, we us three, since we're all kind of local, we had like a little group going kind of around Mesa time, and before that, where we would play every Wednesday kind of morning for a couple hours and just rotate and play some singles. So I got a shout out to those guys because they got me a lot of reps in too, and vice versa. You know, it's all kind of give and take. You know, and but yeah, singles wise, it's a little tough to play. And you know, someone like Mike Shinzaki, who's a very nice player too. It's like he's all the way in San Diego, which is almost like 2.5 hours for me. So it's just tough, you know. And like I said, a lot of people just don't want to play or don't like to play singles, you know, whatever. But you know, but I have no problem playing dubs as well. It's like it's really not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, and from talking to some of your partners, it sounds like you actually enjoy being on the right side, where you can have your two-handed backhand in the middle. Is that accurate? I mean, do you enjoy?
No, I like the left side. So
So
it's
you
funny.
don't necessarily like having your backhand.
I like my backhand cross court. I don't know if I should tell people that now. They're gonna know the secret. Nah, it's so funny. Even in tennis, I only play the ad side. I sleep on the left side of my bed. I don't know, something about the left. I don't know. I like that ad side for whatever reason. But I like my backhand going cross court. And then, man, I don't know if I should give away the secrets, but I think my forehand cross court is a little weaker on the dinks. Just because I can't, like I said, I play kind of continental, so I don't really carve it as much as I don't really carve it on the backhand. It's fine. I kind of hit my backhand like I think what's her name, Anna the 12-year-old. I hit the full on ground stroke on the backhand, where on the forehand side I kind of don't. And so I love the ad side. That's
so you love being on the ad side. And for anybody that doesn't know tennis terms, ad side is the left side. So if you're behind the two players, the left side is what's called ad, and the right side is what we call even, or I don't know what they call it in tennis, but do they have a name for the right side? I don't know.
The do side.
The do side. Do side and ad side. There you go. So.
But if anybody ever plays me in pickleball, only hits me on the ad side. All right.
So that's interesting. That's interesting. I love it. In singles, do you find yourself trying to cater to hitting a two-handed backhand, or do you just play both?
I only hit two-handed backhand.
I'm saying, do you find yourself trying to position yourself to hit a two-handed backhand more than even a forehand? Or do you just roll with it?
It just depends. Really, honestly, when I serve, it just depends on the quality of the return they hit. So if I'm going to drive it, whatever side they hit it to, I'm just going to drive it. If it's a ball where I can kind of run around, hit it inside out forehand, I'll most likely drive it. Otherwise, whatever side it really, if I kind of, that's kind of my instinct first is like, am I going to drive or roll? Because, you know, obviously it's not like tennis. When that ball's low, you kind of have to drop it. Whereas in tennis, you can kind of get away and flick it up, and, you know, you got strings, obviously, so you can kind of get under and use your wrist. Whereas in this, it's like once that ball dies, it's kind of tough. So that's kind of my first instinct is, all right, am I going to drive or drop? And then really whatever side it goes on, I'll just hit it. I have no real preference. I guess my preference would be to hit my backhand, but the good part is, like I said, I play continental in pickle, so I get to kind of slap the shit out of the ball on my forehand in this game, where it's like I've never been able. I slap the shit out of the forehand in tennis as well, but I got a lot of spin and kind of what we call like shape. You know, I got a lot of arch trajectory on the ball. Whereas in this one, it's like more of a line drive, so it's like I kind of like just being able to slap it.
Just slap it. Yeah, that's what Daniel Roditi said. It's like when he played with you, is that you have the ability to kind of just slap the ball with your forehand really well, and create a lot of pace and power with that slap shot. So kind of a unique style there. Does anything besides the two-handed backhand, obviously, does anything else from tennis translate over? Footwork, positioning, court awareness. Does any of that stuff translate over to your
man? Dude, honestly, everything. But not even that. I would say, like I said, I played paddle tennis too, or what they call pop tennis now, since I was like 8. You know, we used to go down to Venice, my pops and I. And dude, honestly, that I would honestly almost say helped me transition to pickle just as much. But yeah, court awareness wise, just everything wise, really. Well, first of all, I think some tennis players don't like pickle or can't transition that well. Because if you don't like to volley in tennis, and that's, you know, part of tennis that's really died down, I'd say in the last like 15 years. Obviously, we barely have any serve and volleyers, let alone people that really come to the net unless they got to finish a point away. So if you don't have good hands, almost pickle is not going to be your thing. But luckily I've had really, I would say, not to stroke my own ego here, I got people that could vouch. I got pretty good hands in tennis, so I kind of have the feel, the touch, so that helped. The court awareness, and then kind of playing a lot of paddle singles too, kind of getting low. that first step, split stepping, it all helps and translates. If I didn't play paddle or regular tennis, there's no way I would be anywhere near the level I would be right now. I probably would have been like someone like Fad. No disrespect to Fad. I know he just played. Someone I also love and have a lot of respect for. Fad, he told me he just played football, has no racket experience. He's just one of those weekend warriors. So if I didn't play tennis or pickle or paddle or regular tennis, I probably would have been someone like him, just kind of a scrapper. Just like hustling my way around the court and just kind of winging it. But
I love it.
Yeah, it all translates, dude. And all those hours, paid off for something.
That's awesome, man. I love it. And you're only 23 also. And I think you are kind of the new breed of player that's coming into the sport who grew up from an early age at 4 or 5 years old and learned all those things that you have to develop in tennis to be a successful tennis player, or at least a proficient tennis player. And then you took that and almost instantly, you're able to translate those skill sets over to pickleball. And talk about just how much fun pickleball is. Like, was it as addicting? I know you didn't like it in the beginning, but now that let's talk about now that you've gotten to play with Jesse Irvine and Jeff Warnick and all these players that you get to see and play with on a regular basis, even competed against some of the big names, Ben Johns, Kyle Yates, Fad. How addicting is it for you? How much do you love it? I know, it's got to be.
It's so funny. I'll be honest. I hear people say this all the time. Like, they have like that pickle, fix that like addicted. I never got that. I'm not really. I don't have really an addictive personality type of person. But I definitely enjoy it. I'll say this though: when it's not going my way, and I know it's like you got to adapt, adjust, whatnot. But like I said, sometimes when I don't play that often, I kind of have this notion where it's like, oh well, I'm good. I'll just go out there and kind of try to almost wing it, like, oh yeah, I can kind of pick up where I left off, get that feel. So when I get frustrated, I'm like, I'll say things on the court. I have a big mouth, I have a hot mouth, so I'll be like, I hate this game. It's like, this game is stupid. Sometimes I'll say that. That's just being honest. Never in a tournament. I'll just say that in like rec. So when I get frustrated, it's tough. But it's like, when I'm playing well, like, we played this week. We went to the Zabinden's house up in Rancho. It was Jesse, Jeff, me, Scotty, Trevor, just a crowd of us. And I felt like I played pretty well. So it's like, yeah, I had a good time. But am I like addicted? I would say no. You know what I mean? Like, I do enjoy it. Yes. It's more, I'll say it like this. It's more of kind of like that gym where it's like, I remember there's this quote at the gym. It's like 85% is just showing up. So it's like, once I kind of just show up and get there, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I don't really hype up going to play, like, oh, I'm going to play pick. It's just like, once I'm there, then I kind of get in that zone, in that mindset. But no, I'm not like, oh, I get to play pickleball today. It's like, yeah, it's cool. But it's like, let me get there, get a feel, play, and then I kind of get into it. But that's just kind of how I am in life, period.
It's I was going to say.
It's not just pickle. It's not just pickle. It's just, that's just how I kind of am in life.
You do with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, like Jessie, I know she's like addicted. Like, she'll play 8 hours a day, 6-7 days a week if it was up to her. Like, I don't have that. Like, yes, I would do it, but it's like, I don't have that same.
No, I'm with you.
Drive. I don't know if it's drive, but it's just like, I just like everything in kind of balance. So it's like, yes, I like to play, but yeah, I don't have that addiction, I would say.
I like it. And I gotta just point this out. This is the first time in all the years I've been doing these interviews that Jeff Warnick has actually tuned in and commented on the actual live stream. So the first thing Jeff said that I noticed that stuck out, he said, "Who is Scott Crandall?" So right out of the gate, he's firing shots. Who is Scott Crandall? Of course, I'm sure he does know Scott, but pretty interesting that Jeff Warnick's tuning in. You must be a big deal on the in the SoCal if he's tuning in here. So,
oh, Jeff, you better put some respect on Scotty's name. Come on now. To refresh your memory, Jeff, I think if Scotty and I played against you on Tuesday, we definitely beat you. So you should know who Scott is. So, but no, hey, shout out to Jeff. I love Jeff. And if I had to compare Jeff is like Draymond Green of pickle. He is your worst nightmare if he's not on your team. He's that irritant, in a good way. He almost trolls. Luckily, Jeff's been in my corner, and I love Jeff. And I got to step up my game because he supports me all the time. And sometimes when we're just playing, I don't really get to support him all the time, but I definitely need to. So Jeff, love you for that. Because I'll say this quick little story. When we were playing, I don't know if you saw when I was playing Ben. I think I won like 1 or 2 points. And then Jeff yells out like, "Yo, Ben, you should take a timeout." Just joking, obviously. You know what I mean? Like you got Adam Stone in the back, arena, everyone's just watching, just having a good time. And Ben even laughed. Then the ref is like, "Oh, whatever, warning," for me, and everyone's laughing. And then I think he ends up like missing like 2 returns in a row or something. And even Scott was like, "Dude, you got to go thank Jeff for getting you on the board there." And yeah, man, so Jeff's the character. I love Jeff. I know he gets a lot of mixed, whatever reviews from everyone in the pickleball world, but he's been nothing but cool, respectful with me, and him and I would say he makes me play better. I probably would never say that to his face, even though he's probably watching, because we talk a lot of shit on the court. And I would say this: I'm probably one of the very few who has maybe shut Jeff up for like a solid 6 seconds, and I cherish those seconds because it's like yes, and then I'll probably I'll mess up the next point trying to be Mr. Macho and try to do something stupid. But yeah, man, he's a cool dude. So I love Jeff. But,
I'll say this about Jeff. I've met Jeff on many occasions at the tournaments, and I'm not best friends with Jeff. I don't get to hang out with Jeff that much, but I'll never forget my first time at Nationals in 2018. It was November 2018. I'm one of these guys at a tournament. I'll play all day at the tournament, and then I'll hang around at the tournament, and then when the lights go down, the sun goes down, the lights come on, I'll play pickup games till
play all day.
Yeah, I'll play. Yeah, I'm a junkie. Like I'll play till everybody leaves, and so I'll never forget. One night we're playing pickup games, and I happened to be playing. I don't know how this happened, but it was me and my buddy Ed Bailey got on the court with Adam Stone and whoever Adam was playing with. It was just a random. I don't know. Adam was just chilling, and he wanted to play. So we get on the court. It's 4 of us playing, and all of a sudden Jeff Warnick sits down in the top row. It's those courts when you first come into the
Wells.
To the left right there. So
yeah.
So he's sitting there watching us play, right? And I didn't know who Jeff was that much. I mean, I knew of Jeff, but I didn't really know like that Jeff hassled you and heckled you or whatever. And I think he'd had a couple adult beverages by this point,
Oh,
so,
for
sure. Most certainly. So like
we gotta get Jeff a sponsor by now. Jesus.
Yeah. We like Budweiser or something, but no, seriously, man, he was like heckling everybody on the court, like including me. And I didn't know really how to take it. Like I thought it was funny, but then I was like, is he serious? Is he joking?
Yeah, so he's almost like that comedian, you gotta just have that sense of humor. And it's like he can obviously rub you the wrong way if you take it that way. But it's like I know Jeff, he doesn't mean it there's no militia behind it. He's just almost trolling to troll, but it's it's funny. I get it. I understand it. I'm not so like PC, like, oh my God,
no, he's a good dude too, man. Anybody I've ever talked to about him says, you know what, he'll give you a hard time, he'll mess with you, but he's got your back at the end of the day. And I think guys like Jeff Warnick are good for our sport. They bring a little controversy, they bring a little excitement. His let's go, and come on.
Oh, I love that.
They're great.
I love to get hyped, so I love that. And honestly, dude, like I said, man, even with like tennis, whatever, it can be a little kind of, like I said, plain, boring. Like I said, I love watching hoops, man. You love to see like the chest bump. You like to see just the hype. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love when Jeff yells that. Oh, dude, I love it. Now, if I was on the other side of the court, it would definitely piss me off. But you got to respect it. Like if it's a big point, whatever, like you got to keep that adrenaline flowing, or even bring it up. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have no issue with it. I love it.
Me too. I got another quick funny story about Jeff. Actually, there's 2, but I reached out to Jeff at one point, and I have enough of a relationship with Jeff to text him on Facebook and say, hey man, what's going on? Like, would you ever consider coming on, for an interview? And I'll never forget, I didn't know what he was going to say. I honestly didn't know if he'd say yes, no, or shut the hell up or whatever. But I remember he responded in a way that was very unique. He said, you don't want me on there, Golden Boy. Like, you don't want me on there. And I'm like, no, I really do. That's why I'm asking. He's like, nah, man, trust me. You really you don't want me on there. He's like, I'll just say whatever. And I was like, I remember thinking like, maybe the people at Pickleball can't handle Jeff Warnick live and up close. But no, I mean, I really thought it would be cool to have him on because he's such a polarizing figure in our sport. Because if he was your size or my size and he was the way he was, I don't think it would do as much damage. But he's like 6'7". Like
he's a big dude.
He's a big dude. And then he stands there. Dude, I played some pickup games with Jesse Irvine, me, Glenn Lucy, and him at Nationals this past year in November. And I remember like playing against him in the pickup games, and he was just standing there, like he'd be like looking around and like have his paddle down by his side, and all of a sudden like you try to rip the ball at him, and he just puts it away on you. Like,
oh, believe me, he knows. I try to, man. I'll tell you, we're playing what, Tuesday. I'll try to, like I said, I love my backhand in the ad side, and everyone tells me it's a bad play to try to go up his line, which it is. I'll say I win 2 out of 10 trying to go there. But the 2 that I do hit, I feel like I won the lottery. So he just got that wingspan, and he usually sends it back up my ass when I do try to pass him. But I do. It just almost, I got to keep him honest to a certain degree too, because it's like you said, if he's got his paddle down, almost like he's sleeping, you got to test the waters. And if I get burned, I get burned. But it's like, it's you got to go there. So, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right, switching gears. Do you know Johnny Knack? Johnny says,
I do know Johnny.
Why don't you practice more or even at all? Like, what is this about right here? He's just giving you a hard time, but obviously you're a natural talent. But what's up with Johnny Knack giving you crap?
Yeah, no, shout out to Johnny, because he runs, I think, the Bad Pickleball Instagram account, and every time we go out to Pasadena, he'll throw up the GoPro and take some film, and he sent me a bunch of stuff before. Nice. So he'll tell you, because most of the time I do quote unquote practice is at Pasadena with Warnick and Jesse and Scott and a few others like AJ, and so he knows how much I practice. But like I said, man, it's just kind of a convenient thing. It's just like, if I go here, I know how long it's gonna take me to get back home unless I kind of camp out all day. So I know they'll play on Wednesdays, and like I said, I played Wednesday. It was like mid-January. It took me like 45 minutes to get there. Fine, cool, no problem. Like almost 2 to get back, given I left at like 6 o'clock. Right. I'd already played 5 hours, and I'm like, I don't want to, not that I didn't want to socialize with them. It's like, I don't want to go out for dinner, stay out till like 9. I still got school the next day. So it's kind of just like, it's like stay there literally all day, and then avoid traffic, or kind of just fight the traffic, get home at a kind of a reasonable time. But yeah, like it's just more of a convenience thing. But like on the weekends or something, it's definitely easier, because like I said, I can kind of give those day commitments. Like I remember.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember like Michelle and Rob Cassidy were here this was before Mesa, and I'd made the trip up to La Habra like 2-3 weekends in a row, and we'd play all day. So it's like, those I can kind of do, but it's like during the week, it's just a little tough. I got school, work. It's just, I got a lot going on, and it's not an excuse. It's just kind of facts. And it's I totally get. We all make priorities for the things that we all make time for the things we want to do, but it's just. It's just kind of tough sometimes.
Well, I feel like you're that type of athlete that, and you tell me if I'm way off base, but I feel like that you're going to be playing in the pickleball tournament, on such and such date, and like maybe a week or 2 weeks out, like you start practicing and getting ready, and like maybe when you get there a day or two early or something, like you're not that guy that's just grinding all the time. You kind of show up and get back into the groove, right?
Well, I'll say this, like when I was going to school this semester, it was like, when I had winter break, I was like I said, Michelle, Rob, and like Chris Anderson, Jesse, me, Aaron, D'Onofrio, Jeff Warnick, Scotty, Crandall. We were there was weekends in a row where I was getting a lot of reps in, and it definitely helped me, of course. But it's like, no, I need that practice, because I'll give you the counter side of that was like going into California Open at Los Cab, which I kind of just backspace delete out of my memory. I'd only practiced twice since Mesa, and it's like, that, like I said, it just bit me in the ass completely. And to be quite frank, I didn't even practice really that well going into it. And it sucked too, because like I said, I had school and work. So I remember Fad hit me up, and shout out to Fad, because we're going to partner up. And like I said, dude, I got a lot of respect for. He had texted me, he was flying in, I think like that Thursday morning. So he's like, dude, let's get some games in. So I had school till I think 2 or 2:30, back before pre-corona. So when school was still in session. Yeah, so I put in my ways, because Lowe's Cab was like it's like an hour and a half from my house. So I put in my ways, to get there by like afternoon, because I told Fat, I was like, yeah, like I'd already committed. I was like, yeah, let's just play, not knowing how long it was going to take me. So I put in my ways, to calculate the next day, and it said like 2.5 hours. And I'm like, I texted Fat, I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm getting out there. So I drove up there like that night, just got a hotel, so I didn't have to drive up there early in the morning. But it's like, yeah, being able to get those reps in, it's a big difference. And like I said, someone like Jay or Pat or, Fad, those guys that are traveling to tournaments, not only are you getting reps, you're playing against the best players. So it's obviously going to give you that edge just by default. You know what I mean? As opposed to someone who's just kind of picking it up, as I get there. It's just, it's a bites you in the ass.
Absolutely. Have you ever found that, like, whether singles or doubles, where you play a tournament and you can't get in the groove ever, and you just feel like no shots going in, or you're just not in that groove, and then other times where you feel like you are? I mean, talk about that. Like, as an athlete, how do you adjust during those times?
Yeah, that happened once. Scotty and I played. What was it? The Surf City Open I think it was like Huntington Beach. This was like in, I want to say July or August. I think it was before Golden State, around that time. It was somewhere in summer. It was definitely like July maybe. And we'd been playing a little bit going up into it. And I don't know what, it was just an off day for both of us. Like, obviously, like Scotty and I, we're both very, like I said, someone I have a lot of respect for, and he keeps it very honest and real with me. So, when we take timeouts, it's very like strategic. It's not just a timeout to just obviously to stop the rhythm, kind of assess what's going on, but we try to make adjustments. And it was just one of those like just off days, and we scrapped by a couple wins, and then we lost to Aaron and Bo in the quarters or something. And credit to them, they played unreal. And shout out to Bo, he's been nothing but cool with me and showing a lot of love. And those guys both played really well. I think they lost to, I want to say, I forgot who they lost to in the finals, but it was a good match. Oh, I think they lost to Dan and Justin Schumacher in the final, but they played really, really well. And it was just one of those, just the off day. You know what I mean? There's not much I could really say. It was just off. And and it's like, you obviously you try to make adjustments, but it's just sometimes it's just not, you're just not in that feel. You know what I mean? And you try to change things up, whatnot, but
just sometimes
it's just not meant to be sometimes.
What about the opposite, right, Gabe? Like, what about the times where you're dialed in against Kyle Yates or Frank Anthony Davis, or like even Ben Johns, even though you didn't come out on top against Ben? Like, like to kind of get in that groove, and then even I mean, you've got some pretty significant wins. I'd say anytime you can beat a Kyle Yates or a Frank Anthony Davis in singles, and I don't even know some of your big doubles wins if you have any, but talk about that part and how you've dialed in and overcome some adversity there.
Well, I mean, really, in singles is a little different, because obviously it's just me, but I like to call it like demon mode. So I'll just go in, I just put on my headphones, whatever, before the match, just try to hop in demon mode and just throw on the music, get in the zone, leading up to it. And then once I start playing, it's just really, for me, I'm kind of more of like a feel and rhythm type of person. So it's like, I really need to kind of feel that ball. Cause like I said, I come from tennis. So it's like, you feel that ball kind of pocket in the racket, in the string. So, really it's just trying to get rhythm, just get some reps. Really my goal is to try to be on the offensive end. Like, even because singles, you can, like with Ben, I'm sure there's a few points where he just toyed with me and I'm out there just playing cat and mouse, chasing a ball of yarn. And, but yeah, like being in that zone, I honestly, I would just say it's really, I don't want to say there's no way to get, obviously there's a way to get into it. I would just say, like going into Mesa, I practiced a lot. So that helped. Even the dubs reps helped. It's just like I said, getting feel, having some rhythm going into it. And then I got there a day early because I wasn't playing mixed, and I played some rec with my buddy Julio, with Fad, and with Rafa Hewitt. So we played 4 or 6 games, and then I actually played some practice singles with Fad that day before. So
is there anything to that at the pro level, like where you would practice against somebody that you might even potentially face, so that you can? I mean, do you guys do any of that? Is that something you do?
You know what? I'll say this. I got two kind of stories to that. The first one was, we'll go in chronological order. My buddy Brandon Kramer, who's also a very nice singles player. This was when I played SoCal in June, and all the big names were playing. Like, I think Tyson was supposed to play, Kyle, Ben, but then they all pulled out because I think the mixed aged or something was that day, and there was no money in the singles on that Monday. But anyways, Brandon hits me up, and I played with him in dubs and stuff. So he's like, "Hey Gabe, do you want to warm up, in the morning?" And I don't really like to look at the draw too far in advance. And he was in my next round. He was in the second round, assuming I won my first. And I was like, all right, well, if I warm up with the dude, I don't want to show him everything I got. So I was like, so we played a couple practice points, and I kind of was just going through the motion, because I was like, dude, if I play this guy, I don't want to know what I'd like to do. That was kind of my little like poker face superstition. But then I'll say this, when I got to Mesa and I'm playing Fad, I felt kind of bad for him, because first of all, Fad, you know him, he's just the ultimate scrapper. He'll chase down anything. He's the ultimate hustler. So I'm playing fat. I win like the first game, whatever, kind of just getting a feel. I wasn't doing anything too fancy. Kind of just, I hit a couple good drives, whatever. And then second game, dude, I felt super bad. We were playing on this temp court at Mesa in like the back corner. And I hit a ball out wide and Fad goes chasing for it. And, I played hoops a lot. So I thought he fell hard and kind of slid. It almost looked like kind of like that hard fall like that Kobe took when he busted his Achilles. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, Fad, are you okay? He was out. So I helped him up, and then he just kind of like rolled his ankle, and but he was going all out as if it was a gold medal match, at nationals, and I was like, holy shit, like, this dude's motivation is off. I'm like, dude, this dude's motivation is off the chain. I'm kind of just, playing, kind of just like I said, just to get reps, and he's going all out, and then I felt really bad because we had to stop after that, and I was just hoping he was gonna be good the next day. So
no, but that's how he is. He will literally lay it all out there, even in a practice.
Yeah,
he doesn't know anything but fifth gear.
But no, dude, he's super chill. Like I said, I had never met Fad until then, and then like I said, you just build these organic bonds with people, and then he's like, dude, let's team up and play. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Like I said, I'm very easy. I don't care. It's like, if I'm cool with you, we build some organic relationship. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So
absolutely, I like that, man. I like
but yeah,
that.
no, to answer your question, no. At this point, I don't really care. People are gonna know my game, at some point. So it's like, no, if I practice with you, it's like I'll just show you whatever I got. It's not this big superstition. But that one time I was practicing with Brandon, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to show this dude but that was also my first kind of big tournament. So I was like, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to, unload the chamber all at once. I'm like, all right, let me just kind of, tick tack with it a little bit and then go from there.
I love it. Okay, so let's go back to some questions from the audience because we got people writing stuff. So Gabe the Gladiator, do you know Gabe Anderson?
I do, Gabe the Gladiator. So the wrong Gabe, right?
Yeah, the wrong Gabe. This is the wrong Gabe. That's funny because that story, when you brought it up earlier, I forgot that I confused the two earlier in the other one.
What's funny, when I tuned into you and Joe Tony's interview towards the very end, I remember it was like I was like, yeah, Joe's like, oh yeah, Gabe's on there. He's a nice singles player, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh yeah, Gabe the Gladiator. And I'm like, no, wrong Gabe. But you didn't know me. So I was like, all right, I don't blame you.
I didn't realize it. Yeah, I don't even know why I said Gabe the Gladiator. It didn't really make sense. But he was the only Gabe I could think of at that moment. So
yeah. No, but shout out to Gabe the Gladiator. He's super cool dude. I've met him a handful of times, I believe at La Habra. And I believe he also uses an Electrum Pro paddle. So, he's on the right team, my guy. So two Gabes with two Electrums, what more can you ask?
I love it. So Gabe says Alex Crescencio from SoCal started pickleball in Colombia, Medellin.
Oh, okay.
Medellin. There are players there now. So if I recognize Medellin, isn't that where the famous stuff is from?
The cartel, yeah, man. The
cartel. Right? yeah. So so are you from that area though, or no?
No, I'm not. Actually, my mom's out here. Mom, what city were you born again? What city in Colombia were you born? My mom was born in the coast of Colombia, so kind of like around like Santa Marta, Cartagena. But where we live in a little city called Armenia. So it's actually 30 minutes south of Bogota. So you fly into the Bogota airport, which is the capital of Colombia. Most people know. That's like kind of the main city. That would be like the LA of Colombia in a sense.
Gotcha.
But anyways, you take a little propeller plane 30 minutes down south. Like it's like 25 minutes. And it's kind of more like, I would say like almost like the Calabasas, kind of it's not super bougie, but it's just more like suburban, I would say.
Okay.
So that's where we live. We live out here, out there. But yeah, no, there's like I said, tennis is a luxury. There's not that many clubs. But like 40 minutes in Pereira, where actually, you said you watch tennis. There's Santiago Geraldo, Alejandro Falla, and Juan Sebastian Cabal, and my man Robert Farah, who actually went to USC with my buddy. They all train in the there's a big Babolat tennis facility in Pereira. So when you actually fly into the airport, you can see it. I've wanted to hit there last couple of times I was there, but it's out of the way. It'd be like from my house to like LAX. It's just kind of far and out in the woods. So it's kind of hard to get to, but I didn't know people out there. So that's kind of cool.
I love it. All right. So Daniel Monson, Daniel says, I want to highly improve in pickleball. What are some awesome drills? He said, I have been practicing against the wall for an hour each day, but that is getting a bit boring. What can I do? Do you have any suggestions, even coming from tennis? Like, surely there's some drills you can give him, or a couple basic things.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, since he said he was doing drills against the wall, I'll say this. I've seen a lot of, like I said, on Pickleball Forum, I kind of laugh to an extent. Some of it's a little cringe. I see people doing these drills and stuff, and it's cute, you know. But what I see a lot of is like just people kind of practicing wrong, you know, kind of just volleying, just kind of, you know, windshield wiping the ball, doing whatever. So it's like, you're going to practice, do it right. So I would say, like, if he's practicing against the wall, work on split stepping and kind of moving forward, you know, like, or standing as close to the kitchen line, keeping your racket up in front of you, kind of making like a L or V, like, because we kind of say in tennis, just keeping that racket up in front of you, having your hands ready, you know, and try to, you know, hit it to, like, I'd say keep a good, you know, pace of volleying back and forth, but really just focus on not taking a big backswing, just little things like that. Cause, you know, we can all just go out there, you know, whatever, winky dink around, hit the wall, but it's like, are you really doing it right? You know what I mean? But if he can get, I know these times are a little rough, but you can get somebody, like I said, when I was in Colombia with my dad, we would just volley every day for like half hour back and forth, just kind of speed, just reactions. So if he can get out there on the court and do that, or with somebody, but like actually on the court drills, I would say I like skinny singles a lot, to be honest. But it's funny. Yeah. I'm kind of a basic person, to be honest. Like, I just kind of really, like I said, I like to get a feel. So I really like just either using the whole middle of the court or even just using half the court. And I like to really work on my thirds, because I think that's like, if I don't practice a lot, that's kind of where I feel like I need to not really work on, but I really need to have that in rhythm. So I kind of like I like when I have someone just standing at the kitchen and I either just drive thirds or drop thirds. Like, I remember Scott Crandall and I used to do this drill where it's like, we would play like a game up to 7, but it wasn't to try to like really beat you. It was doing like one set of hitting 5 drives or drops in a row, and then that would be a point. And then it's like, if I missed that 3, then I would lose the point, and basically to 7. You get what I'm saying? So basically just hitting like reps of 5, eventually getting to 7. You know, so if I hit 5 in a row, that's 1. If I hit another 5 in a row, that's 2. So stuff like that. And then, you know, I would kind of just be like, all right, let me hit the 5 drops in a row. Let me hit 5 drives in a row. Let me hit 2 and then mix it up with 3 drops in a row. Just kind of stuff like that for me is what I think helps me the most. And even doing, like I said, if I have someone in the, if I'm playing the ad side, I'll have Scotty on the ad side of his kitchen. So now I'm hitting, you know, thirds cross court, because I also like to hit my backhand cross court. So, you know, that would be like the equivalence of going out there and playing tennis and just working on, you know, hitting cross court. Or like, there's another drill in tennis where you do like 2 balls cross court, 1 up the line, and kind of play the point out. So you're kind of shifting and moving, even though that's tennis.
I like it. That's a little, you know, just kind of complex than what people do in pickleball, I feel like.
Yeah, like I said, it's really, man, as cliche and basic as it sounds, it's just practicing with a purpose. You know what I mean? Don't just go out there and just hit against the wall. Really work on something. Like, am I working on taking a shorter backswing? Like, keeping that racket out in front of you. Just little things like that. You know, really staying on your toes, kind of like a boxer when you're volleying at the kitchen line. Just stuff like that, I think is more key, that people kind of just overlook. Especially, you know, the cool thing about pickleball is a lot of people can play it that don't have racket sports or, you know, background. You know, that you really just got to be an athlete or some coordination to play, which is cool. But at the same time, you get those guys that just don't have the proper technique. You know, right. Like someone like a Jesse or Pat, you know, that played tennis and kind of just come in and they already have, you know, the fundamentals down to a sense. Now it's just about getting that finesse. You know, so that's what I would kind of say, man. It really depends what you're trying to work on. But like I said, for me personally, I like to work on my third. So like, even in between games, like I'll bug Jesse or Jeff or someone. I'm like, dude, can you just, like, you know, we all tend, you know, after we play a rec game, it's like we sit there, kind of get a sip, chill. And it's like, we kind of get out of rhythm a little bit. And it's like I said, I'm a rhythm player. So I'll be like, while we're waiting, I'm like, dude, Scotty, you know, hop on the kitchen and let me just drive some at you. You know, let me get a few in. So that's what helps me personally. So like I said, it was just, you know, to answer dude's question, it would just kind of be more like you know, more what you're really trying to focus on, you know.
Absolutely, man. Great answers. I think he's really going to get some value out of that.
I hope I didn't ramble too much. You know,
no, that's good, man. He asked the question, and like I said, I don't put parameters on how long you can answer a question. So I think that's great advice. I honestly think that he can learn something from that stuff, and just hearing kind of your mindset almost can help him maybe as he moves forward in pickleball when he comes up in those situations as well, even at tournaments and stuff. But let's switch gears. I think it's about time. We've been about an hour and a half now, so let's go ahead and throw up the next trivia question. And just to be clear on everything with this trivia question is going to be for the free Electrum Pro pickleball paddle. Yep, that Electrum's given away. Thanks to Mohith again. Mohith,
shout out to Mohith, Electrum baby.
I got to tell you, and it's not just because he's giving the free paddle away and because he's sponsoring the interview tonight, but Mohith is first
super class,
cool, super cool guy. He's a stand-up guy. He keeps his word, and when he tells you he's going to do something, he does it. And I got to tell you, I've had nothing but great experiences just dealing with Electrum and talking with him. Actually, quick little plug, if you guys haven't seen my interview with Mohith, the first round, go back and watch that. I'll try to find it and post it if people can't find it.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't seen it.
I'll send it to you guys. I'll put out the link when we get off this interview, but I'm actually going to plan on doing another interview in a few weeks with him, just so he can kind of unveil some of the new stuff Electrum's got going. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, like, thank you again to Electrum. And man, they're a company that came in out of left field, kind of as an underdog, if you will, per se, because you've got the big three. You got Onyx, Selkirk, and
Selkirk.
Yeah, and then Electrum kind of came on the scene, and I got to tell you, it's amazing to me, how quickly Electrum has just brought their paddles and their company to the forefront of pickleball. And Mohith is a big reason behind that. He's done such a great job, I think, of just branding his company and just signing some big names. Like, you've got, the Dan Gingriches. I could go on.
Lauren. Yeah, we got Shelton, Lauren, Ryan Treffry, of course, Scotty Crandall.
Yeah.
Me.
Who else?
I don't want to miss anybody.
Dan Gingrich.
Dane.
I'm trying to think of who else.
I know she's an ambassador, but I love Kimmy to death.
Kimmy Waddell.
Yeah, we got Kimmy. We got Shelton. We got a bunch of great characters on the team.
That's awesome. Yeah, and growing. And so in that respect, we're going to throw up the next trivia question. And again, this is for the free paddle. So the trivia question, as I throw it up here. Oops, sorry, that's not it. Hold on, throw it up. This is going to be right here. Trivia for the free Electrum Pro pickleball paddle. Which of these three professional basketball players is Gabe's favorite? And
remember, I'm from LA, so that could be a hint.
That could be a hint, but also
that could be a hint.
You threw out a couple little hints as you've been doing the interview, so anybody that's been watching might actually pick up on your little hints. So
I don't recall. I played the fifth.
I love it. But while we're doing that,
hey, there he is.
We got Scotty Crandall back, Uncle Scotty. Can you hear us now?
Did you pay your AT&T bill or what?
Yeah, no, I had some technical issues. Sorry about that.
But we got it worked out now.
Yes, I hope so.
All right, so while we're waiting for people to guess the top three, which one of his favorite basketball players to win the free paddle, Scotty, I brought you on for a couple reasons, but mainly because when I asked Gabe who one of his best friends in pickleball was, he said, Uncle Scotty, that's my boy. So you got the call. So you wanted to do like a top five, I think, right? A top five reasons to be partners with Gabe.
Yeah, no, Gabe and I started. Okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire phoning a friend over
here. No, Gabe and I started this game together, and we've played. I think I've probably only played 15 tournaments or so, and 12 of those have been with Gabe. So we started together. We've done, we learned the game. We've gone from 0 to Gabe's at 100 now. But
Drake reference for those who don't know.
I wanted to list like the top 5 reasons why it's fun to play with Gabe. And we've, just watching this interview, you've covered, a lot of them. Number 5, he's very fast. And although in doubles, that doesn't help that much, I do feel comforted knowing at any time I can just say yours and he'll go get it.
He's going to go get it.
And we have highlights to prove that. Number 4, especially in the beginning, he likes wearing the matching outfits. Fashion's very important to him.
Oh yeah.
We have some, we've always looked good on the court, and I think that's led to our success. And we still do. I don't think we've ever been out there where we are not matching, and it's a fun game, and it's Gabe has a lot of swag, so it's fun to be a part of that. So that's number 4. Number 3 is the slang. He has rap lyrics for every situation. Like we are not really the same generation. I turned senior pro this year. I don't always know what he's talking about, but I learned from being around him. We started playing tennis in 2017, and the first thing that was my favorite thing, I didn't know what it meant, but every time someone hit a big shot at him and he would slap a winner, he would just go, "Free smoke." I didn't know really what that meant, but if you're around him enough,
you just went with it.
You learn, and it makes the game fun.
If I may chime in, I will say though, I don't know how much certified I am. I can definitely certify Scotty street cred. So he is he is the cool uncle. So he gets the stamp. He gets my approval.
I can't try too hard. The number 2 thing is we have a lot of fun conversations during matches because we're new. A lot of our opponents, we don't know who they are. They're strangers. And Gabe is very good at giving people nicknames. And they're not always the most flattering. But, for example, if a guy's wearing a green shirt, he'll be like, "Hey, hit it to green shirt." Or if someone's got some glasses on, he'll be like, "Okay, let's go to the professor." Or if a guy has a big mustache, it's like, "All right, let's keep it away from Ron Burgundy." And we had a lot of success starting. And so when people would call those timeouts, once we get to 10 and it's match point, people will always call a timeout to try to stop your momentum. And Gabe and I have these conversations where it's like, okay, so let's stick to the game plan. Keep the ball over to the professor. Every time you try to go behind Ron Jeremy, he lights us up, So those things really make it fun to play with them. And then the number 1 thing is, Gabe, it's a lot of fun playing with them. We both get very pumped up. We're very emotional players. And when things are going well, that's a lot of fun. Things don't always go well. Gabe can get a little negative, and I kind of have to keep him in there. And, and when things aren't going well for me, I get angry. Aggro Scotty comes out. And when we're in this example in Vegas, that weekend, Gabe played mixed the day before, and he was playing great. I did not play mixed the day before. I wasn't having a great day. We lost our second round match to a team, maybe I didn't think we should lose to. And then boom, you're straight into the back draw. And now we're playing a team we really should beat. And we're down 5-0. I'm not playing well at all. It's just not going well. And I'm angry. And then
we flip the switch.
Gabe calls a timeout, and he's like, "Scotty, what's up?" He let me have it. And he's like, I don't want to lose. Look, here's what I just want you. Can you do one thing? Just hit the ball to that guy right there. That's all I want you to do.
Did he point? Scotty, did he point?
Hit every ball to big guy. And so I followed directions from down 5-0. We came back. We won that match 15-7. Got on a roll. 2 matches later, we beat the team that originally beat us. And just, had a great tournament. But it just shows that Gabe doesn't give up on you as a partner. He's a lot of fun to play with. And, he's a very interesting character. He's great for this game. And it's great playing with him. I will always play with Gabe, even though we're now in kind of 2 different divisions, lucky for me. But, he's great guy, great partner, and good for the sport.
What was the deal with the naked lady shirt or whatever? Like, what was that your idea? I think you said that was your idea, right, Scotty?
It was our first tournament. We, as he mentioned, we didn't know how serious to take pickleball yet. We came from a tennis background, and it's a local tournament. So I thought, it would be fun. I was confident we were going to do well. Even though certain people, were betting against us.
Jeff Warren, maybe?
No, Jeff's very supportive. Ryan provided some motivation, we'll just say.
Oh, I like it.
But it's like, I thought, well, this will just be fun. We got some matching shirts they weren't naked ladies, but they were not unattractive. But there is actually a rule. But I thought it would be fun. It's like, but there's a rule that you can't have like if you have graphic material on your shirt, that it wasn't.
It's considered a distraction, right? It's a distraction.
Yeah, and it was a distraction. We got a lot of almost every guy at that tournament was they were all big fans, and it's a little bit distracting.
But kudos to Gabriel for jumping on board with that idea. Like, I mean,
Scotty knows I'm down for anything.
I didn't have to twist his arm. That was not a hard sell at all.
I love it.
I made sure the girl was his type too. That helped.
That's awesome. Scott, real quick while I've got you, when the first time you saw Gabriel play pickleball, did you know that he had potential to be a high-level guy, even let's say a top 10 in singles within a year? I'm just throwing this stuff out there, but I mean, what was his potential when you saw him play?
Yeah, when we started, it's like I think it takes a month when you're first starting to realize how hard this game is to learn, and so. No, I had no expectations. I did not foresee, him or anyone getting that good that quickly. And we weren't playing a lot of singles. It wasn't until we had already kind of learned how to play doubles that then he started playing singles. The first time I saw him play singles, though, it's like, for real, it's like, oh, he could be as good as anyone at this because, his natural skill set, he's very fast. His extensive paddle tennis experience, it's like he understands how to cover this size court. He has the right, his strokes are made for this size court, for this, this type of ball, this type of paddle. So yeah, it didn't take long watching him play singles to realize he was going to be great at that. But doubles is a different skill set. And I don't know if anyone's going to be natural at that. That seems learned.
I agree.
And takes a lot more time and effort and reps. And if he practiced more than once a month, he'll get there.
What would you say is his best shot? Not just characteristic, but best shot. Like in pickleball, what's his best shot?
His overhead is devastating.
I love it. What is it? The snap off? Is it the fact that he can? I mean, what is it?
It's the height. It's the wrist snap, and it's that he. Especially in tennis, will always hit it to whoever the better player is on the other side because he wants all the smoke.
Oh, man. Okay. And then what would you say, without being too specific maybe, what's the thing he needs to – if you could give him one piece of advice to get better to the next level, like what would you say like he needs to work on, improve on? I mean, this is something I've never done. I've never asked this question. I'm just curious.
He needs to learn how to protect his body. He gets hit more than anyone I know. For
in
being
dubs, that is though.
In doubles, you can't really hit someone in singles. But it's for being as skinny as he is too. If he would just turn sideways, the ball would go out.
That might be the best answer I've ever gotten on this show. He needs to learn to protect his body. Is that true though, Gabe? I mean, is that accurate?
Okay, so yes, 1000%. And Scotty knows we come from tennis. So a lot of those misdirection volleys, like when like I said, I play the ad side. So whoever's in front of me, if they hit like someone like a Warnick hits like that weird, like inside out, I've never seen that before. And it's still, I would say sometimes fools me. Sometimes I'll tell myself I see it coming and I really don't. And I've gotten hit a lot. I say every time we play rec, I get hit at least 2-3 times per day.
Okay, but I got to know, because you guys are out in SoCal or that area in California where Jeff's from. Jeff was the first to yell body bag at a tournament. He yelled it at nationals, and then they sent out this like massive email. But locally in rec games, do you guys still yell body bag when somebody gets hit?
Not really. It's really only fun if there's a crowd, if it can stir people up. If it's just amongst us, it's already understood that we're coming for you. It's part of the game, but. Really, it's like we like to do it in creative ways. Jeff has a very good, instead of hitting overheads, he almost always will hit a drop shot because he wants you to come running, pop that thing up, and then the next one is coming for you. And but we know it, and it's fun. But yeah, we're always trying to hit each other. But yeah, yelling body bag is almost pointless because we already know.
I think we converted a body satchel now as the new slang.
I love it. In Florida, when I came down, I moved down in July. What they do is they have a night during the week. This is the younger crowd that I kind of hang out with. We have a night where we play like fire. We call it fireball. So basically, if you get hit with a body bag, you have to drink a shot of fireball. Yeah, so like it's kind of fun. And then by the end of the night, you're just trying to hit everybody in the face, basically. But that's not for everybody. That's not a game for everybody. But
Scott, that is a great game. We've been doing something similar, even though we're not playing because of social distancing. If we had been playing, for these last few weeks, the loser, every game is a bet, and the loser does shots. And there are certain people that we play with that don't react well to shots. Jesse Irvine.
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired. This is why I wanted to bring Scott Grant along, because he's got all the inside information.
And while we actually have Scotty here, I want to say this. Obviously, I love Scotty to death, but seriously though, people need to watch out on the senior pro tour coming up, because Scotty's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I'm excited for him, and Scotty always supports me at my matches, and like I said, even with like Jeff and Scott, I try to do the same as much as I can. Sometimes it's just conflict where of court, we're on the same court at the same time. But I'm excited for Scott to really do well on the senior pro. So watch out for him. It's gonna be exciting for Team Electrum and just us as, like I said, man, just beyond pickleball. We're all like just family friends, so it goes beyond that. So I'm excited for him.
Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate that.
I'll return the favor. I'll say a couple good things about Scotty.
Yes,
and I'm not paid to say this.
Let's go.
I'll say I kind of call Scotty, everyone close to me, I call him Tim Duncan, because he isn't, I would say, the most flashiest. Scotty does the basics very well. So and Scott is also, he's almost like Greg Popovich too at the same time, because similar, I think the reason Scotty and I got along well was, when something wasn't going well, we would try really not to let it get out of hand, because we all know pickleball is a game of runs, it's momentum. So once we felt it switch a little bit, we would take a timeout, and like I said, it's strategize what's going on. So Scotty's really good at assessing that and very supportive, of course. And like I said, we're both kind of similar where we'll get down on ourselves. We're like our hardest critics. But I think, like Scott always tells me, because I didn't play college tennis, he's like, dude, Gabe, when you play for someone, or you're playing with someone or for a team, you always step it up. And Scotty, when we weren't playing together, I could see it in him as well. So when he's with someone or playing, for something other than himself, which is why I don't think he likes singles, he really steps it up, and he if I could really just say, he holds his own. I would honestly just say that. And he's just very solid. Like I said, Timmy D, baby. He knows how to handle the fundamentals.
Anybody that's ever watched pro basketball knows Tim Duncan was playing for the Spurs, and he was an absolute monster. He
had the little mid-range bank shot, little 18-footer. So
I wish I had it. I wish I had his height and reach.
Yeah,
I love it. Did you guys ever think that Jeff Warnick could have played at like a basketball at a pro level, because he's got the height?
I love Jeff. No.
At a pro level, that's asking a lot. I think the sport Jeff was best at was soccer, because he was always very fast. He's extremely athletic for such a tall guy. So I think soccer was like the sport he was best at. But I think he was obviously decent at basketball, although I've never seen it.
I don't
know. Yeah, I don't know
Jeff
how
doesn't want no smoke.
I don't know how he would grip the basketball with his grip. He probably holds it like this.
He would shoot a weird shot.
He probably shoots it like Sean Marion. This little.
Yeah, he probably does the little two-handed inside out. Yeah, love it. Scotty, any parting words for Gabriel and the viewers watching right now before you go?
No, not really. It's like Gabe is gonna. It's too bad this we've had to take this break, because I think 2020 was going to be huge, but now 2021 is going to be huge for Gabe. He's coming on, and
for us,
I can't wait to see how far he goes. He talks the big game, which is good. I like that, because he has confidence. He's not afraid of anyone, but he has a healthy respect. But you don't have to actually verbalize that respect, but he has it. But he believes in himself a lot, which is great. You can't do it if you don't.
That's right.
And so I think there's nothing but good things for Gabe in the future.
That's awesome. Yeah, I often hear people say that some of the top players in any sport, they use the word that they're cocky or they're arrogant. And let's be honest, if you're going to be the top at any sport, you got to have a little bit of that swag, a little bit of that confidence in yourself. And I think there's a big difference in what you said, being cocky and arrogant versus having a healthy respect for the opponent, but also believing in yourself enough to know that you can compete. So that's great insight, man. Great insight. I personally have enjoyed your top 5. I think that gave the people watching some really good insight to Gabe from a different perspective. And the only last question I've got is, what are you drinking? What is that, a beer? Like, what are we working with there?
Yeah, I haven't been on these before, but usually there's people. The guests are always drinking. I mean, Irina or Adam, whoever it is, they've always got something going on.
And shout out to Adam. I know it's his birthday today. I showed him some love on Facebook, but I don't know if he saw it. So shout out to Adam. I know,
Oh, but yeah, this is what I've got going on.
STS, is that I mean, what are we talking about there? I can't even really.
It's just a Pilsner from the Santa Barbara area. I think I got that when we played the Santa Barbara tournament last year. I've had this for a while, so I broke it out for this interview.
What a big occasion. And
which we won. Sorry.
and listen, Scott, I appreciate you coming on. I know we had a couple of technical difficulties the first round, but just like your pickleball game, you're a fighter and you figured out a way to come back stronger than ever. So I'm so glad that you did, man. You really awesome insight to Gabe and what he's all about. So I do appreciate that.
Thanks,
watch out for El Gringo 2021, baby.
El Gringo, baby. All right, Scotty, have a good night, man.
You too.
All right, guys. All right, so that was awesome, Gabe. What did you think about that, man? I wish we could have done it flawless the first time, but sometimes you got to work through some kinks.
I'll say this: I love the 5 characteristics. I mean, maybe 3 out of 5 were very tactical court characteristics, and I'm being sarcastic there. They were all the slang and all that. But nah, he's dead on the money, and Scotty. I'll say this, and the reason I have a lot of love and respect for them, because, like I said, they have the best intentions for me, and they always they're very genuine and they keep it real. So it's like they've seen me at, like, I don't want to say lows, in life, like not life, but like on the court, they've seen me basically beat myself. You know what I mean? Like maybe someone I shouldn't have lost to, whatever, and not just outside of pickleball, whether it be tennis, paddle, whatever. We've just had conversations like I mean, I can name you a bunch, but I like one off the top of my head. We were at when we were at SoCal. And like I said, all the big players were supposed to play. And I was sitting in the jacuzzi with Scotty, whatever. He's drinking his beer. I'm probably, I don't know, I was drinking some. And we're sitting there talking. I'm like, yeah, like you said, I'm not cocky, but I definitely believe myself. So I was like, yeah, dude, I thought it was going to be my very first test, against the pros, because they were all registered. It was before the tournament started. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm super excited. Like, I think I can really make a name for myself. And he's like, dude, I absolutely think you can too. But like he said before, he's like, there's Tyson, Ben, and there's everybody else. So you just got to go out there and prove yourself. So he kind of gives me that little spark in a sense, but like, I know it's coming from a good place. It's not like, to knock me down or anything.
Jerk about it.
Yeah. It's just kind of like that incentive. So,
absolutely.
But like, man, those people, like, man, like I said, Julio, Scott, Jesse, those guys are, like I said, man, it's just, we're like family off the court. So those guys will always mean something more to me than pickleball. You know what I mean? It's like,
man, that's awesome. And it's always nice to have somebody in your corner. Anytime you ever watch like professional boxing, those guys don't come into the ring by themselves, right? They come in with the entourage. They come in with a group of people who have their back no matter what.
Yeah, and no, dude, 1,000%. And I didn't want to cut you off, but like, like I said, I've got a lot of love from the pickleball community, but like, I really want to say, man, like, not to keep like, like meat riding them, like, but Jeff and Jesse, man, they stayed an extra day at Mesa to watch me play singles. So it's like, that really means a lot to me, because like, they don't have to stay there. You know what I mean? They could leave. It's like, oh, you're playing singles. That's cute. I got to go. They can make up some excuse, whatever. And
a lot of people do.
Yeah, but like, I don't know how much close attention you pay to my Instagram post, but it's like, there's a couple people, like I said, man, like Joe Tony, my man Terry Hartley. I think he's out in North Carolina.
Yeah, Terry.
Man, so many people, man. But like Kimmy Waddell, Team Electrum, like these people, man, they were like, when I was in Mesa and just other tournaments, literally DMing me as I'm playing and just saying, like, keep going, like, win, blah, blah. And I try to really, man, even on my Instagram post, I try to give everybody the love back and just saying, I really appreciate that, because I do. It's not like I'm just saying it to say it. Like,
no, it's not fake.
You know what I mean? For them to go out of their way just to even, write those words, man, it means a lot. So it's, it's appreciated.
100% agree. And I think that's the one unique characteristic about the pickleball community is that it's such a loving family for the most part. I mean, you've always got, you know, I think the word is like the bad apples or whatever. Actually, there was a guy that was on here that I had to just had to block.
Oh no,
for being on here. Yeah, he was making some obnoxious comments, but not about you. It was not about you at all. It was actually about me. And I'm just saying. About 40 minutes ago, I noticed the comment.
I didn't even know. Oh man,
yeah, I just went ahead and blocked him because you know what?
I would have loved to see it.
Well, I'll share with you later. But like, here's the thing: this guy is known for being very controversial and just being, well. Here's the thing, man. On a quick side note, there's a difference to me of somebody that's like razzing you or jabbing at you a little bit in a good
like trolling.
Yeah, trolling versus somebody who's just harassing you.
Yeah,
right?
No, 1,000%.
Yeah, these comments are not just jabbing; they were harassment type comments. So like, I just went ahead and blocked the dude. I've actually blocked him on, which is funny because I never block anybody, but this guy was so hardcore. I blocked him on my personal page, my personal Facebook, and now obviously he found his way onto my Golden Boy Pickleball page. But anyway, I didn't mean
you got beef with Scott, man. You're gonna have beef with me. So
that's right.
Point this dude out.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you who he is later. We'll talk about it. But anyway, my point is, you're always gonna have some bad apples. But for the overwhelming majority of people in pickleball, they're so loving, so supportive. Dude, they tune in. Like, dude, you've had a consistent 45 to 50 people watching live. Like, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal. A steady number like that for 2 hours. Dude, that's huge. And that's just, it goes to show the love and support that people have for you, right? The people that know you and know about you and know what you stand for. Dude, it's huge to have that kind of support.
Man, I told you, man, when we reached out, we were, communicating back and forth. And I don't know if you know the rapper who's Tekashi 6ix9ine is.
No, I don't know that name.
Okay, anyways, he went on the Breakfast Club and he's like, the minute he started the interview, he's like, this is going to be your most watched interview ever. And I think they were like at 16 million was the most watched. So I told you, I'm like, dude, this is going to be the most watched interview. So I think when this is all said and done, because I peeped like your interviews when you did one with like Steve Deacon and Joe Tony, obviously. And I see you're getting a couple thousand views. So I'm like, dude, this is going to be your most watched one.
I love it, dude.
I'm putting that good juju out there. So hopefully
I love it, man.
Comes to fruition.
You got big shoes to fill, though. I think Kyle Yates' interview, I think it's got around 13,000. So you got a lot of numbers to go there. But I think you can do it, man. I think you can do it. I love it. Okay, and back on track. I want to say congratulations real quick to Grant Bond. Grant won the free Electrum paddle. So I'm sure Mohith by now, it's been 2 hours. Maybe he's not watching at this point. Maybe he is. But I'll reach out and follow up and make sure that connection happens. But congrats, Grant. You won yourself an Electrum Pro, courtesy of Electrum Pickleball and Mohith. So awesome. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Man, if Grant is watching, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose Iverson? And whoever chose Drake earlier, I would want to know why you chose the answer. Just as a side note.
Yeah, so Gene Click was the one that picked Drake first. I would be curious as that as well. But if anybody was on their A game and was watching, you mentioned Allen Iverson 2 different times in your talks.
Oh, yeah. I remember once. I said it twice.
Yeah, you said it 2 different times. So, which I thought was good actually, because it was like leaving little breadcrumbs for people.
A little teaser.
To know, because I actually changed. So you gave me the 3 names. You gave me Allen Iverson, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. Well, I actually thought, from a strategic standpoint, if I put Kobe and LeBron, they would know that Allen Iverson was like the odd man out, so that might be your favorite. So I threw in Muggsy Bogues, who was like, "Do you know Muggsy Bogues?"
Of course I know Muggsy. 5'5". Of course I know Muggsy.
I assumed you did, but anyway, I threw him in instead of Kobe, so that way it would kind of throw it off a little bit.
Balance off. Yeah.
So I thought people would think that LeBron was your favorite, since the other 2 were kind of.
He was one of my dude. A little side note. I was before I started wearing kind of my gun clothes and tennis clothes in general, I was a big Nike LeBron. Like I said, dude, all my best buddies played hoops. I literally used to wear LeBron stuff every day from like 8th grade to like my junior year of high school. I just wore LeBron gear all day, every day. Like,
I love it, dude.
I'm a big LeBron fan. I'm not gonna lie. Like when he went to the Heat, I was a bandwagon. I didn't care, but that wasn't for the team. I like LeBron, so hate it or love it, I don't care.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right, real quick, I'm going to go back through some of these questions out here. What is Deke Marshall's comment about Spider? Do you know if that is that like a nickname you've got, or is that random?
I think it's just random.
Okay. We won't even,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. This is backtracking a little bit, but I wanted to give Sophie Vandenbosch a shout out because she
Mhm.
said, heck yeah, got to support the small businesses. This is when we talked about small businesses. She
Yeah, yeah.
is the co-founder of Revelin Sports, and
Mhm.
her and her boyfriend started a company called Revelin Sports. You can see it in the picture right there. They create pickleball paddles that are all like organic and like green.
That's
Kind of a
dope.
cool concept. Yeah, it's a cool concept. So just want to give her a little shout out. She's awesome. Let's see.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
just to go back, man. If I can, obviously I can't, buy a paddle contractually wise, but if I can support, if you guys got any products, just send me a link. I'd be more than happy to buy and support. I'm always down for the cause. So just hit me up.
For sure. And you know what I did at Nationals? I met her for the first time, and even though I'm contracted to play with the Monarch paddles and my Golden Axe, I grabbed her paddle and I played a couple pickup games with it, and I just gave her some real feedback. Right?
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. So even though I'm not allowed to play with her paddle per se, I was able to do that to give back a little bit to her. So I love it. All right, dude, we got an absolute legend on our stream.
You know what's so funny? And I don't want to cut you off. My buddy Michael, oh man, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's like Bragminter. He's actually from not Portland. He's from Oregon. Yeah, and Oregon. I think he grew up with Wes or played tennis with Wes. He's like a family friend. So Wes, if you're watching, Michael says what's up. And yeah, it's kind of funny because my friend Michael had actually played pickle, not with Wes, but he played pickle up in Oregon, and he knew Wes was good and everything. And but yeah, so. The question, go ahead.
That's an absolute legend on our stream asking questions. So I love it. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, I guarantee you. So it says, who's been your favorite doubles partner to play with so far? So who would you give the shout out to or the nod?
Oh man, dude, this should have been the poll question.
I know, right?
Oh man, you know what? It's to me, honestly, and I'm not even just saying this to say this online, but that's like almost picking your favorite kid. Obviously I played with Scott the most. And like I said, Scotty's always going to mean something more to me than just pickle. So I would say he's probably been my favorite partner. But like I said, like I have a lot of love and respect for Dan. And we've only played one tournament together. And it was a lot of fun. Like I said, when we lost, I wasn't even tripping. Usually I get in my feelings and, don't talk to me. Like, I get upset. But like, I really like playing with Dan. But like I said, when you just have that organic bond, you have a respect for someone, like it just, you're friends first, to me. So I really enjoy playing with Dan. Even recently at Cal Open, like we didn't do how we wanted to do. And I played with my Mike Shinzaki, who's also a friend of mine. And it's funny, during this quarantine, a little side note, we have a little poker group we've been playing on every day for some cash. And it looks like my pickleball earnings are going down the drain playing that. But anyways, we got a little, it's funny, man. Like you said, pickleball is such a cool community. We literally have this poker app where we just play a bunch of us. So shout out to everyone in the group. We got Treff in the group, Mike, Daniel Lederman, Cimarron, just so many named Cheese. We got so many people. But anyways, yeah, Scotty, I'd probably have to go with Scott just because we've just played so much together. And we played actually tennis tournaments, league matches together as well. So but like I said, I was also partnered up to play with Ernesto this year, and as well as Fad, which I was really looking forward to as well. So it kind of sucked that's on pause right now. But man, they'll tell you, man, if you literally just ask me to play a tournament, I'm just going to say yes. So, and, I have love and respect for all those guys. So really it's like, I'm like, the answer is Scott, but it's all love. So it's not like, I'm literally picking the best, it's like picking what do you like more, Ferrari or Lamborghini? It's like, I'll take the Lambo, it's like, they're all so good.
I love it, man. That's awesome. All right. Julie Trulio I think that's that Trulio. Julie's a big fan. She said, was beating Kyle Yates your biggest win?
And
if not,
I guess on sorry, go ahead.
Well, if it wasn't, then who was?
I'm gonna say this. I guess maybe on paper it was. Me personally, I don't think so. But I'll say this, and I know Kyle kind of gets a bad rap for this. And listen, also, shout out, I got respect for Kyle too, because when I was in Mesa, and I'd played them in Golden State, and he was cool and respectful. He wasn't like big time in us. Cause sometimes when you're a newcomer, they don't know who you are, they'll get on the court. And I've seen this, in tennis, it's like, you don't want to really warm up with the person. You just want to get started. It's like, who these chumps get off the court. And he was not like that at all. So I have respect for that. But when I was in Mesa, I was going in the locker room, and there's like, they kind of had the players lounge, and I was just walking by, and I'd never spoken to Kyle in my life. honestly, I know pickleball is such a small community, but some people really think like Kyle and Ben is like, like legends, which they are legends, but you know what I mean? Like almost bigger than, how do I say, almost bigger than the sport. Like they're like almost like Kobe or something in pickleball. So for him to like, just say what's up, and he's like, hey man, like how you doing? How'd you doing, Dubs? Whatever, kind of just chop it up. I thought was super cool. He didn't have to say a word. And but anyways, I know he kind of like gets a bad rap for like faking injuries and stuff. He was definitely, I'll say this, he was a little hurt when he played me. He was kind of, like, arching at his back and stuff. And I heard, Kyle, for him, singles isn't really his main priority. And dude, the guy does well in dubs and mix. So, those are two divisions that obviously I haven't really played mix, but obviously I'm trying to place where he places in men. So he's playing obviously a lot more than I am, going deeper in these tournaments. But, was it my biggest win? I guess in the grand scheme of things, sure. But if you had to ask me, I think Fad was my biggest win so far, because I think ranking wise, he's number 3. He has big wins over everybody. And I, no disrespect to Fad, he's almost what I call like a tennis pusher, because dude gets everything. So he can really frustrate you. And it's funny because, I'm fast and I'm usually the fastest one on the court. So he's almost as fast as me,
Right.
if not faster. So for him, chase down everything, it's like, dude, like, excuse me for cussing, it's like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, God, you get everything, so,
I love it.
But those two are definitely, I would say my biggest wins, but Kyle's definitely up there. But, like I said, love and respect to him, man. He's obviously solidified, and, he's a killer. So, it's all respect.
I love it. Love it. All right. Kimmy Waddell, who has already got some mentions on the live stream here. Kimmy is also Team Electrum. She said, Gabe is the most supportive partner I've ever played with. I could hardly imagine what he could do on the court if he actually spent some time practicing on his way to #1 singles. So she's just giving you some love, man.
I love Kimmy. Shout out to Kimmy.
Yeah, she's great, man. Such a awesome person, and she's
I got a cool, funny story actually. When we played, the one time we did play mixed, we were in Vegas, and I'd flown in, I think, was it like that Tuesday evening at like 6:30, 7:30, and Kimmy calls me up at like 11 o'clock at night, and she's like, yo, I just played women's, and the weather was hot out there, and she's like, she almost had like heat exhaustion. I don't know if they had to call the paramedics or whatnot, but it was intense, so she's like, I don't think I can play mixed tomorrow. So I was rooming with Treff, Ryan Treffrey, and we both like to gamble and go out, have a good time. So we go out and gamble, and we're drinking and stuff. So we don't get back till like 4:30, and I go to sleep, and I hear my phone ringing. And by the way, I never met Kimmy up to that point. So I hear my Facebook phone ring, the messenger app ringing, and it's Kimmy. So I don't think I answered at first because I was like just knocked out. She calls me and she's like, hey, what do you think about giving it a shot? Because I feel bad. You flew out here, came out here to play, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's really up to you, Kimmy. Like I whatever you choose, it's, your health is first. And anyway, so we end up going through with it. So I hop in the shower, real quick, take a cold shower, try to wake up. And I didn't even know where the courts were at the plaza. So George Avery, I think, was directing it, calls me up on my phone. And I'd met George before. And he's like, dude, like, where are you? You got to check in like 5 minutes. And I'm literally running around the hotel looking for the courts. And anyways, we end up winning the 4-5 mix, but it was super fun, and Kimmy was a great time, and she's another person just a lot of love and respect for. So it was awesome. And she bought me a drink. She got me a big drink, one of those like smoothie, it wasn't a Fat Tuesday, it was something similar, one of the knockoff Fat Tuesday. So it was awesome. So I got some incentive.
I love it. All right, Daniel Liederman, who's a guy you mentioned as well, he said, look at that stud. So he's on here commenting.
I love Daniel too, man. I've beaten him only on the pickle court. Dude keeps taking my money on this poker game, so it's not that fun. But yeah.
Ryan Treffrey, he just said flawless. I think that was in regards to something we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's my we have like poker nicknames on the app. So I'd be like, yeah, if that was my rap name, I'd be Flawless G. So
Flawless G, I love it. And I just wanted to give Ryan a shout out because he's very, very supportive of you. He actually messaged me privately before the interview and just said, man, thank you for like showcasing, Gabriel and putting him out there. So yeah, my pleasure there. Daniel also says, Scott Golden, will you ask Gabe if he's single for me?
Who said that?
Daniel Liederman, he wants to know if you're single.
I'm on the wrong team, homie. Sorry.
I love it. Okay, Wes Gabrielson. He said, "What is your favorite drill?" So, like, this is going back to kind of one of those.
Yeah, it's earlier.
But you can just touch on it real quick. You don't have to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, like I said, if I have someone at the kitchen and I'm kind of just blasting balls, trying to get a feel for some thirds, that would be my favorite. And then, honestly, like Scotty said, my favorite shot's my overhead. So it's like I love honestly just having someone stand back there, even if I just be like, can I just get a couple up? Like I love just hitting overhead. So
love it.
But yeah, man, like I said, just hitting some thirds is critical for me.
Good stuff. All right, Jeff Warnick says El Gringo is his name. So I think that's a funny comment by Jeff Warnick. I love that he's tuning in, man. Honestly, that made my day.
Yeah, see how I get in to tune in for you?
Yes, absolutely. And then Jesse Irvine says we are watching, so they're definitely tuning in, showing some love. She said we love to banter. So is that true?
Yeah.
Like, you guys pick up games, you guys probably just talk all kinds.
Oh man, I'll say this. Not that I've taken it too far. I remember one time, like I think you said you would talk to Michelle when you were asking about me, and one of the last times, like yes, I love to banter. Especially Jeff will egg me on, so it's like sometimes I just feel enticing to respond. So I'm like, all right, I gotta say something back and shut him up. And sometimes I'll be the starter of the shit talking. And I remember one time I said something to Michelle, like I was like, get that shit out of here or something, like don't bring that up, and something to that extent. And Michelle was like, she kind of took it to heart. Actually, I felt genuinely bad just because I think the adrenaline built up and I probably let it go too far. But yes, we love to banter. But honestly, the only reason I do it is honestly just to, I feel like sometimes in rec, especially playing with friends, you get a little too comfortable and sometimes the competitive aspect goes down. And me personally, like I'm sure probably people see this in me. I'm not like, I don't treat it as like a gold medal match, but I do want to win every game. You know what I mean? And I try not to really play the score because obviously I want to work on some things, but at the end of the day, I do want to win the game. So, sometimes I'll just talk shit just to really keep everyone engaged, make sure everyone's kind of still on their toes, not just, we're just friends having a little get together, which it rarely gets to. But, sometimes you can have those little spurts where you feel the energy die and it's like, it kind of just becomes like, almost torture. You're just going through the motion. And I try not to do that because that's when I know I'm like, I'm not getting better. I'm just kind of just out there to just play,
Absolutely. For sure. Gene Click says, why don't more people trash talk in pickleball? Going along the same lines, like, do you think pickleball is too soft in that regard? I mean, it is a lot of like, oh, great game, paddle tapping.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, could you stand to see a little more trash talking?
I'll say this. It's especially coming from tennis. Yes. So to answer the question, we do need more trash talk. But I'll tell you what I do see a lot, and I'm sure any tennis player could say this, you get a lot of like I'd say especially being guys, you try to get like who's more macho on the court. You'll do like a stare down, whatever, kind of stick your chest out. And I've seen that in pickle. I'm not going to name any names, but
you can if you want.
I've seen like Kyle do it, but here's the thing. I'm not trying to like disrespect them. Like I'm just so calling it as I see it, and I get it. It's kind of to get like I said, to keep you engaged, hype it up. It's a little bit, I would say, kind of weak sauce. It's like I would prefer to see some little banter. Like I said, like someone like a Jeff who's like Draymond, just talk shit. But as long as you don't make it personal, then yeah, talk all the shit you want. I have no problem with it. I like it. I think it makes the sport better.
For sure.
But just don't make it personal.
That's right. Donna Alcantar Fry says, love the Belinda picture of Gabriel jumping out of the frame. Talk about that real quick because you did get some massive air. If I remember correctly, your right or left foot was up at the chest level of Daniel Roditi.
All right, so obviously I love the show court, love the attention. So I was like, I try to get some highlights. I never force them. That's the thing. You'll see people like even in tennis like force a tweener or something. Like I'll do it if the opportunity presents itself. I'm gonna do it. So whatever. Like I've watched the point over a million times. Whatever. We hit the volley. I think Dan hits the first overhead. I hit the second one, and the third I was like, oh, it's gonna be short and far enough where I can kind of just jump and get some air. And we were down. I think that might have been match point. It was like 2-10 or 2-9.
It was.
I was like, I might as well get a highlight out of this. So then I jumped. It would have been nice to put the ball away, but I always tell people, man, with that damn kitchen line, you can't go any forward. So I couldn't go any further up front. So I just try to get a highlight out of that. So that was fun. Like I said, center court, and it's funny as I'm like hitting it, you hear all like the ooh and ahs, and then Dan ends up putting it away. But it was a good little hype point, and I think that was I think they called it like point of the tournament from the PPA or Pro Pickleball, whatever the live stream was.
They
So it was
certainly
it was cool.
Yeah, and talk about real quick. I'm going to bring myself back up here real quick. Talk
Yeah.
about what that level is like playing against that because you guys are great. You and Daniel Roditi are both just phenomenal players in and of your own right. But like you're playing against Tyson McGuffin
And
Riley
Riley.
Newman, and those guys are at the top of the game right now.
They're just average.
Well, they're just average guys,
Okay.
but no. But you guys are down like 10-2 in that game. What makes the difference? Talk about what you think the differences are. Because I think you literally, and I'm not just saying this because you're on my live stream, but like, skill-wise, I think all of you guys are pretty similar in skill. But what makes the difference right now between a guy like you, Gabe, and then a guy like Riley and Tyson right now?
Yeah, you know what? Like we were speaking earlier before we got on the live stream. I think really it just comes down to less errors. It's not really who has the better shot quality. You know, obviously they have good shot quality because they're making us, miss or make mistakes. But I remember, I think the first game was like 11-5 or whatever, 11-6. And I don't want to give away, too much of the, like the strategy, but I felt like kind of driving or kind of speeding the ball up. Like if the ball was kind of not kind of sitting, or like if I hit a good third and I wasn't able to get up to the kitchen and I was still back, I felt like when I drove the next one, it was either like a winner or kind of up the middle and made a miss. And kind of what I've realized too is like, all these guys can dink, you know what I mean? And everyone has good hands. So to me, I remember kind of telling Dan, I'm like, dude, we got to do something. And Scott always tells me this, you got to do what the other opponent doesn't like or doesn't want to see. So I felt like kind of speeding the ball up, changing the pace up, doing something, just to throw them off was going to get us a few points. And then I think I hit like 2 drives in a row. We got on a little run. And then I had another drive that I thought I'd won the point. I missed it probably by like 6 inches. I remember I was like, come on. And then Riley and Tyson were like, no, it was out. And it was way out. I don't know why I thought it was going in. But anyways, I would say just the experience for me is just getting, reps at that big level. And like I said, it's just like when we're in those 50-50 points, dinking, it's just who's going to miss first, or speed it up first. And,
right.
Just kind of that. Like I said, if I had to sum it up, it's just whoever's going to make less mistakes, as cliche as that sounds, but that's really the truth, especially when you're serving, you got to make all your thirds. Cause if you're just missing your thirds, you're shooting yourself in the foot, especially at that level. So
yeah, definitely. Did you feel like it was a game where you just could never get off the ground, or were they just making less unforced errors and you guys were actually trying to push too much? I mean, what was the biggest difference you would say, like if you could sum it up?
I kind of remember we just in the first game, we maybe missed one return. It was just we just lost dink rallies, to be honest. I remember like Riley would be across me, cross court. And then I felt like with those two, whoever started cross court was going to just keep going cross court. I felt like there was really no change of direction. So it's kind of just who's going to outlast each other. And, we just got the bitter end of the stick. But like I said, it's just, it's a toss up. Like I never felt like we were not in the match at all, regardless of what the score said. Like you said, when you were watching, it's just like the skill sets were all there. Level wise, it was just, who was going to miss less. And, we didn't, I guess, execute that, but credit to those guys. I mean, I think they got bronze or fourth in that one. And those guys, dude, for a second round match, dude, those guys are, cream of the crop. Those guys are solidified. So it's like, it's like really, like I said, I'm a firm believer, I can win any match, but it's like, those guys are supposed to win on paper. So it's not like it's a bad loss,
Absolutely. So. Not at all. All right, next question. My girlfriend, Sarah Marsh, says, what are you getting your degree in? So touch on that real quick and talk as long or as little as you want about that and your college degree and what you're going for.
Yeah. So I'm studying nutrition and dietetics over at Cal State Northridge in CSUN. So what most people do in my field, everyone here is registered dietitian. They're like, oh, what is that? It's basically a nutritionist, but in the career field, they call it a registered dietitian, someone that works at a hospital facility or, has their own practice. Anyone could call themselves a nutritionist. So like, it's almost like if you were just calling yourself a pickleball coach, anybody could be a pickleball coach, but are you like, I guess like certified or, what I mean? It'd be like a difference between like a Morgan and like Joe Schmo from the park. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm studying. So I'm graduating this semester, getting my bachelor's. And then if I decide to do the RD, because basically you get your degree in family consumer sciences with the option in nutrition and dietetics. And if you decide to, do your RD exam, do a year of internship, then you work in a hospital facility or start your own practice and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm getting my degree in.
Very cool. Frank Anthony Davis, who also got a shout out. He said, "What up, boys?"
What up, Fat? I don't know if he's still tuned in, but hope all is well, my guy.
I love it. Yeah, Frank's awesome. Who knows if he's tuning in? He's super ADD, so he's probably all over the place. Donna Alcantara Fry again says Gabriel came out to Phoenix and played in the Newman's tournament in October. Love watching you play. So just giving you a little bit more love there.
I think she's saying she wants me to come out there. Yeah, you know it's funny.
Yeah, come out.
Dan had hit me up, I believe, sometime this week, and we're gonna play that, assuming that it happens. So yeah, I'll be out there.
Awesome. Frank Anthony said, "Rest in peace, my ankle that day." He was talking about that story you told earlier.
Man, like I said, I literally just met Fad, but I probably known him for like an hour and a half. And when he did that, man, I was like, dude, what is this? I'm like, what's this guy thinking? Like, what is he doing? And I'd heard about him, this guy's quick, hustle. And I'm just like, when we were practicing, I'm like, what is the dude doing? Like, it's not that serious.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, Deke Marshall. Who's Deke? Do you know Deke? What's his relationship?
I do not know Deke. I guess he's the one who called me Spider, so I don't know.
Okay. He says, what car do you drive? Which I'm not even sure where this question came from.
Yeah, so dude, that's funny. I wish we had Scott back on. I drive a Mercedes CLS 550, and the way actually I got that car, that wasn't my first car. I had a Honda Accord before that, but we would do this Pro-Am every year at a clay court where actually Jesse and Julio Rivera of Underground Tennis Movement teach, and it's kind of cool because it's a Pro-Am. So like I was one of the pros, and we pick literally out of a hat. And you get matched up, and then we do what's called like bisque. So you'll actually get it's kind of like a handicap. So let's say I'm playing you in singles, and I'll give you 4 bisques. So you get to use a bisque anytime you want a point. So if I'm up 7-1, you'll be like, okay, I'll use my bisque, and then it'll be 7-2. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So anyway, I had my boy Clint, and I wanted to say we were the underdogs. We were kind of in the middle. Like people like, okay, they're gonna be tough. We had a good number of bisques. So I made a bet with Scotty because he was getting that Tesla at the time. He had ordered one, and he's like, he was bugging me. I remember like in summer, he's like, dude, let me sell you the car, bro. You look good in it. Like, I got to get rid of it, And I was like, I'll make you a bet. If I win the tournament, I'll buy it, So we ended up winning it, and that was actually
no way.
That's the trophy in my hand with my partner Clint is my Facebook profile picture. But
no way. So that was how you did it?
Yeah, so I bet Scott, and it was cool. So that's one of like my I don't want to say greatest times of my life. That was a really like great memory. I'll never forget that. So
dude, that just got me like that's a heartwarming moment right there.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Honestly, I remember because the way the tournament worked, it's round robin, so you're guaranteed 4 matches, and then whoever basically ends up, out of the brackets is going to match up. So I remember we won our first 2 that Friday night, and I'm like, when we won the second one, it was a very tough team. I'm like, oh, dude, this is in the bag. So I was like, not only am I winning the tournament, I'm getting myself a new car. So
oh, that's awesome, man. That's a great story. Not everybody has a story like that. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool because a lot of it, like I said, it's hilarious. Scott, just not to backtrack, he used to live literally 2 minutes from my house. And we used to play at the same tennis club growing up, and we never crossed paths. I mean, I'm sure we did. He just didn't know who I was. And
I didn't realize it. Yeah.
But it was hilarious. So when I drive the car, sometimes people are like, oh, like, what are you doing driving Scott's car? Or like, I thought Scott was here. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love it. All right, Mitch Ate, I think is how you say it. I'm not sure how you say his last name. But Mitch says, how do you deal with nerves in a big match? So I feel like you're the type of guy that doesn't get super nervous. You have more like anxiousness to get started. Like you want to just get going. I mean,
yeah, you're right on the
mind from you. Yeah. So talk about that a little bit, and then also just for the sake of people who do get nervous, like talk about how they can overcome that, even if that's not something that you specifically deal with.
Yeah. So how do I deal with nerves in a big match? I kind of like you said, especially when I get to tournaments or like the day of, like I'm more anxious just to get out there and start. I get kind of like, not to give too much information, like I always have to go pee right before I start because I'm just like so like anxious and like jittered up to play. But I don't really get too nervous. I'm more anxious. I do get, I wouldn't say nervous. I get a little bit tentative. Like for instance, when I was playing Kyle, I was up, I think 5-0 or 5-1 in the first game. And kind of like typical tennis player, I started playing not to lose as opposed to kind of foot on the neck, trying to win and close it out. He ends up beating me that first game, I think like 11-9 or something. Then second game, I think same thing. I was up 7-5. Then he got up 9-7. And I'm like, uh-oh, this is not the best predicament. Kind of flipped it around. Then I kind of ran away with the third. But dealing with nerves, I'll tell you this. You really just got to think positive. And I kind of like to use the phrase backspace delete, man. It didn't happen. And one of my buddies, my buddy Drew, he would always kind of tell me when we used to play like paddle tournaments together and some tennis. He would just tell me, like, I would literally be like, whatever, reminiscing on a point we just lost. And he's like, dude, like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I already forgot about it. So you really just got to have tunnel vision and kind of just really, as cliche or basic as it sounds, you just got to kind of just on to the next point. It's just like kind of life goes on. It's just, next ball. You can't let it affect you. And Scott will tell you this firsthand. I'm one of the very many that I will let one bad point like cost me three, and I'm a victim to that all the time. And
You're
sometimes
it's
just, yeah, sometimes it's just like, I'm still kind of harping on it, but like, I'm a very tough critic on myself. So it's like, I'm just like, oh, why did I lose? Like, I shouldn't have been dumb there, or tried something a little too cute, something stupid. And then I'm still thinking about that while playing the next point. Then I lose two and I'm like, oh shit, this is a game of runs, now I'm down, I went from 3-0, now I'm down 6-3, so really just try not to think about it. Just whatever happened, you just learn from it, but move on like within literally 5 seconds. You really just have to have like, almost like if you're doing your homework assignment and you accidentally click out on Microsoft Word and you can't ever get it back, you really just got to do that. If you didn't save the file, just it's gone. You got to forget about it, really is what I would say. And maybe you could ask Dane, that's probably not the best philosophy, but I'm just kind of telling you how I deal with it. I try not to think about it, but I'm also very realistic. And it's like, okay, I know what happened. I assess the situation and I try to obviously get better at what just happened, but it does still stay in my mind sometimes, what happened. But
are you ever evolving, trying to improve on that? Like, because at the top level, one thing that Big John's told me is that he tries not to think or overthink too much while he's playing. He tries to have like a blank slate, like, and just focus on literally the 1 point at a time task at hand. So is that something that you feel like you are always trying to improve on? Yeah,
I'll say this. What held me back from really being, I think, obviously I wouldn't say a professional tennis player, of course, but I would say like a really good, solid D1 player. I chose not to play college tennis. Like I had offers to play, but I was a good junior growing up. And this all kind of it collides with what you were asking me. My biggest problem was growing up was I was just like, excuse my language, like a mental midget. I was just like, I would get so frustrated with myself. And just like I said, man, let a couple points just cost me games. And then the match just slipped out of my hand. So a lot of times I beat myself, because I always said growing up, I had the physicality really for any sport, I'm going to outlast whoever. So really it was just more of a mental, being mentally strong. And that was my biggest thing. So honestly, I would say probably till I hit maybe 19, I finally kind of reassessed, was like, all right, dude, you got to it was kind of too little too late at that point, like tennis wise, but I'm like, all right, I really got to just like chill out and just stop being so like negative. So yeah, it's just, that I was like, I was my biggest enemy at the end of the day. There was a lot of matches, like especially junior tennis wise, like I should have won, over some really kind of not like big names, but people like, just locals and some of my buddies that went on to play D1. Like I used to play with one of my buddies in high school who had a court in his backyard, and he ended up playing D1 tennis. He just graduated. But I remember he used to never like want to play me because he knew I had the game. And we used to have really close sets and stuff, but it was just like, he just had kind of that mental edge on me. And it's like, man, I'm right there, but like, I'm just kind of too hard on myself, just beating me. So
very interesting. Have you ever read any books or anything? Like anything?
Oh, dude, I read a bunch. And it's so funny, dude. I knew you were going to ask me this. And while I was jogging yesterday, I was trying to think of the names of the two books. People in the comments will know. There was the one by Brad Gilbert, Winning Ugly. That helped me a lot. I think I read that like my senior year of high school. And then the Agassi book, I believe it's called Open. That one kind of helped me a lot too, because he hated tennis and his dad was really tough on him. So those helped me a lot, I would say. But really, man, it's just kind of just a self-realization. It's like I said, it was too little too late, unfortunate for me. But it's like, you just gotta be like, dude, like, what are we doing here? Like, you gotta chill out, and I still have spurts of it where I kind of, get upset and sometimes throw my toys out the crib, but I'm also, like I said, I'm also very fiery and emotional. So sometimes that will translate into like me really turning on like the next level, flipping the switch. Or sometimes I can kind of melt and fold. But I would say I've really gotten better at not folding the last couple of years, because it wasn't terrible, but before it was kind of bad, where I would just be like, I'll just let you win because I'm pissed,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit at many different sports, not just pickleball. People will shut down. Even in tennis, you see at the pro level, they try not to show that they're tanking, but you can absolutely see when a pro.
Yeah, and dude, that's why like I know Kyrgios. He's even come out. I think he said he's had like depression and stuff. But that's why I like him too, because he's also very he is emotional on the court, but he's just like, some of these tennis players, man. You look like a David Ferrer or like even Federer. These guys are just almost like Rafa. They're like robots on the court. You know what I mean? I never had that. I was just like, I gotta let my emotions be expressed, and it's just like I remember even in mix when I played with like Sue and Kimmy. They would think I'm like angry, but I'm not. I'm just really just letting my emotions out, and that's how I deal with it. I just gotta let it out. It's almost like a vent. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm actually upset. Not even at them. It's just like I need to let it out. And
no, I'm the same way. If you talk to any of my partners, it's the same thing. Like I have to express myself. I have to talk about it. I want to communicate with my partner, and I'm always verbalizing stuff. So yeah, I completely can relate to that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Dude, we're all human at the end of the day, and different strokes for different folks. So however you react, That's just how I react, and it may not be like the most on paper, correct way to like, express yourself or whatever, but it's like, that's just, I am who I am. So
yeah, you're just being real to who you are. And I think with anything, and you touched on it earlier in the interview, it's like having balance is good, right? Like knowing that your strengths are, you can flip that switch and go into beast mode, or like you say, demon mode. But also that can also let you go into tank mode, where you literally lose a match based on your emotions. So finding the right balance and knowing when to flip the switch on. Like, for example, Ben Johns. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Ben. And if you haven't watched this, I would encourage.
Wait, who's that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Gabe, I would encourage you to watch this if you haven't watched it. But at the Franklin Masters, which was in Oklahoma. I mean, it was in Missouri. Yeah. Okay. It was at the New Chicken and Pickle facility.
Oh, I think I heard Dane talking about it. Weren't they down like 1-9 or something?
No. They were down 10-0 or 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
They were down 10-1. Or I think it might have been 10-0 or 10-1. And they came all the way back. And they won 12-10, and they won $10,000.
Wow.
But the reason I bring that up is because Ben, if you watch him, like you could see that he was clearly like he was frustrated, but you could also tell that he never counted himself out and counted it
out. Yeah. And that's that's a real tough thing to be able to do, to kind of just flip the switch, in a sense. And it's like, to really just stay focused and kind of just have that no quitter mentality is it's tough. Like I would say I have that definitely to a certain extent. And I hate to say, like when I was playing Kyle, man, like when I'm up, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm known for doing this, where it's like I always play better when I'm losing, of course. And not because I start like kind of just slap dicking or free rolling my shots. It's just for some reason I just play better when the score is
when you have something to kind of overcome.
Yeah, when the score is not in my favor, I tend to play a little better. But like I always tell Scotty when we were like winning, I'm like, all right, dude, foot on the neck. And I think I do a lot better job in dubs with that, is kind of closing out matches and kind of sticking to script. Whereas in singles, I can kind of let it slip away a little bit. And it's not a fun place to be in. But that's part of the game, and that's what, like in tennis, that's what separates. All those guys can hit a ball. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of the mental aspect is what kicks in.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jesse Irvine. This is we're going back a little bit, but Jesse said the fireball shots definitely hit me hard. So she's talking about when you guys were playing that game. That was when Scotty Crandall was on. So that's funny.
Oh man, I don't know if I was there for that one because I didn't have any shots. So that must have been a different day.
I love it.
But I can definitely imagine those hitting hard.
For sure. All right. Donna says, Gabriel, keep it real always. Can't wait to watch you grow in the pickleball in this. She said grow in pickleball world. For sure.
And shout out to Donna. She's like I think she was talking about the top 35 list and like put my photo in there. She's like, dude, this kid's incredibly athletic. Like he should have been on the top 35 list. And man, like I said, I've never even met her and super just supportive, genuine human being. So, her people, like I said, like Terry Hartley, Joe Tony, Donna, even Tina, just people just reaching out, man, who I've never met. So it's like, they can obviously feel my like authenticity through, from whatever they've seen, live streams, whatever, my posts, So I appreciate that a lot. So,
For sure.
So yeah, shout out to Donna.
Absolutely. All right, Deke Marshall cleared up some confusion.
Oh, okay.
He said he mentioned John Sally nicknamed Spider. That's why he said that.
Man, I didn't even know that. And it's funny. I remember John Sally when he used to play on the Pistons, of course, but he was also on the Best Damn 50. I didn't know that was his nickname though. That's
yeah. And he said, "Do I win a paddle for knowing his nickname was Spider?" I don't know.
You educated us, D. Come on now. I didn't even know that.
I love it. All right, Kevin Anthony says, and by the way, dude, you've got a ton of questions. That's why we're still rolling. He said, Kevin Anthony said, any ideas on how you can improve your poker game? I don't know if you need to go into detail. Maybe that's like for another, like maybe you could privately message Kevin about how.
Dude, I'll just say this, man. You know what's funny? I'll be honest. I play a little conservative at the table in poker, but I just keep getting. We play on this app. I keep getting bad beats. Like it's not like I'm playing bad. It's not in my favor. So I have no response to that. Like let's get a freaking different app.
I love it. All right, Johnny Knox said fold pre. I don't even know what this means. Maybe you do, but
maybe that's probably in relation to poker. I don't know.
I think so. We're going back. I'm trying to catch up on all these. Scott Crandall said Sue Wong.
Sue, love Sue.
You mentioned Sue.
She's awesome. We played a couple mixed tournaments together, and another person, man, she is just supportive, and I'm sure she's known around the pickleball like world. Like she's just awesome. She's a joy. So
dude, she's a joy. Anytime I see Sue at a tournament, we take a selfie together, and she absolutely is just an awesome, just.
Yeah, really we got a bunch of selfies, and dude, she's just good energy, man, and I really love and respect that. That's just like, just being around people like that is just, it's just good vibes. So
it's good vibes. Yeah. All right, Jennifer Wu Cheese Doolittle says, "Yay, poker group shout out." So I guess she's a part of the poker group.
She is. They wanted me to shout them out because dude, you got such a big platform. I'm like, all right, I got to do it. So,
dude, that's awesome. And honestly, like Jennifer, is it Woy Cheese? Like that's a cool name.
Everyone calls her Cheese. Everyone calls her Cheese.
Just Cheese. Yeah. Cheese, I've seen and heard a lot about. I've never met her, so I'm actually looking forward to meeting her at a future tournament.
Really
I hope
cool
that
cat.
I can.
She's awesome. Super. She's almost like Sue, just good energy, good vibes, and she likes to have a good time. So if you got your little Bud Light or whatever, she'll hop in that too. So
I love it, man. Love it. All right, let's see. Let's keep rolling. Michael Chang says, "What's your favorite tournament that you've played in?" Some of these just maybe answer quick so we can keep going. I know we're coming up on 40 minutes.
Not even just result wise. Definitely the PPA in Mesa. Just because that was like my first big test, and like I said, man, like my boy Julio, he came with me. Like we bunked together. He was all over, just like I was actually. I don't really tell people. I had a sinus infection actually that tournament. I was kind of sick.
Oh,
and right. Yeah, we know it's funny, man. I almost thought I had like not corona, but it was right around that time, and I was sick kind of bad, and it was just like he was during the singles tournament and even dubs. He's like, dude, you need any water? You need bananas? What do you need? Like he was just literally fetching stuff for me. Like
he was just checking on you.
Yeah, man, and it's just like he's just a super good person. Like I said, I call him my stepdad. So that was definitely my favorite tournament, just because result wise and just atmosphere wise, it was great. So that was my favorite tournament so far.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, Vincent Rivera, who's a fairly well-known player in the sport.
I know Vincent. I think he's in Bakersfield. I think
he is. He's in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Always seen his posts. He's always very active in social media and Facebook stuff with pickleball. And he said, "Question: are you still playing tennis? Do you have a ranking? And name the best thing about pickleball." So let's start with the first one. Are you still playing tennis?
Yeah. So actually, I've been fortunate enough during this quarantine for the last month. I was actually in Vegas when everything went on lockdown. I came back home that Monday night. And like I said, I've been fortunate enough. We got buddies who have private courts. So since I was like, I'm not gonna be playing pickle, I need to do something. So I've literally played tennis every day for the last month. I've taken a total of 4 days off of tennis, and then I'll also run. So I'll kind of wake up in the morning, I'll go play tennis, come back, do some schoolwork, and then I'll run in the like early evening, like 6. And I've only taken 1 day off of running. So yes, I still play all the time. And then since obviously I didn't play college tennis, I played in like a bunch of leagues, like in some 5-0 leagues. That's kind of the highest level like in the area. And then I also played some 10-0 mixed leagues. And I don't really have a ranking. Everyone uses the UTR. Like my UTR is not that good, but no, I mostly just play for fun now, but like, still competitive. So my buddy I'm playing with, he's at UCI right now. His season got cut short, but he's one of my best friends. So since he was back in town, we've been playing every day. So I've gotten lucky to kind of stay active and still play. But honestly, man, dude, that also helps a lot. It's funny as it sounds, it helps me a lot with the pickle. Cause like I said, even just getting on the court, just getting that feel, kind of just the movement, it helps a lot, even if I'm not playing pickle. So it all translates. So
yeah. And then he said, name the best thing about pickleball.
Oh man, best thing about pickleball. That's a good one, man.
That is a good one.
Kind of generic, I would say, but like I said, I like the attention, the spotlight. So playing in that center court, even in front of how many people it is, and the games, can last kind of long. So I would say just being in kind of the spotlight, playing, and since it is a kind of an older crowd, they all really love and enjoy it. So I would just say kind of playing on that center stage is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I do think I raise my game when I'm kind of in front of the crowd. So that would be my favorite thing. That's what I most look forward to. Like every time I'm at a tournament, I'm like, dude, what court am I getting put on? Like, so that would be kind of my favorite thing, I guess.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man. All right, my girlfriend asked a random question. What do you think about the keto diet? She does the keto diet. Obviously, guys like you and I, we can probably eat whatever we want and do whatever we want. So this may be something you may not even know what the keto diet is.
No, I am aware of it. I know a little bit about it. I'm not too in depth in it. Actually, I have a friend who actually did it, and he lost some weight doing it. I'm going to make this quick, just, different strokes for different folks. Everybody's body is different in how you react to certain things. So, if it works for you, great. And, stick to it. But, you really got to kind of, I'm not going to say be careful. You got to really just watch it, feel how your body reacts to certain stuff. Cause you don't want to deprive yourself of certain, your protein or whatnot, whatever, maybe vitamin D, vitamins, whatever it is, so that's kind of how I'll just answer that. Cause I can go for hours, but, just whatever works for you, keep doing it for whatever you're trying to achieve, gain weight, lose weight, whatever. So if it works for you, kudos.
I love it. Love it. Good stuff. Good advice. Kevin Anthony says, do an interview with Cheese. Do you think Cheese would be worthy of an interview? Is she somebody that I could interview?
That would be interesting. She would be, she could be like a segment. We could do like a segment with Cheese.
We'll do a segment with Cheese.
Yeah, as a little feeler.
I love it. Love it. All right. Vincent Rivera said just now, love your game and you deserve the spotlight. So he's just throwing a little.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
Big
Good
time.
stuff. Good stuff. All right. Look, we have a predicament now. We're at 2 hours and 42 seconds and 12 seconds. 2 hours, 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Do you want to try to break the record of 3 minutes and 1 second to say that you can beat Joe Tony at the record? Or because we still have to do the rapid fire questions. So that might take up a little time. Do you want to try to break the record?
Let me ask you this. You knowing me, getting to know me the last 2 hours and 40 minutes, what do you think I'm going to say?
Oh, we're breaking the fucking record.
So there you go. You answered it.
All right, let's go. All right. So actually, Scott Yeager said, are you saying cheese is an appetizer? That was good. I'm not going to lie.
I plead the fifth.
I love it. All right, let's do rapid fire. I'm going to bring you up on the screen solo, and I'm going to read these questions off. Let's do this. Let me find it real quick. All right, rapid fire questions. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
Steak quesadillas.
Oh, dude, I like it. Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Ooh. There's this good Lebanese joint out here, but one that everyone would know would probably be Cheesecake Factory, I guess, just because it's like one everybody would know. But yeah, I love Lebanese and Mexican food is amazing. So
perfect. Okay. How old are you?
23. Michael Jordan, baby.
All right. When's your birthday? When do you actually turn 24?
Oh man, I would love for people that are into like the signs try to guess this one, but I am January 12th. I'm a Capricorn.
Nice. Okay. All right. Favorite shot in pickleball?
I knew you were gonna ask me this. Overhead, but like actual shot that you hit consistently would be like a drive. So forehand, backhand drive off the third. But my actual favorite shot would be the overhead. But if we're talking consistently, the drive.
Okay, perfect. What's your worst shot in pickleball? That's a tough question, but let's see if you can answer it honestly.
That I actually have to hit, or more like, because like Scotty said, if you hit me with the inside out misdirection volley, that's my worst. Like, chances are I'm not hitting it back. That would be my worst, but it's not really a shot.
Yeah, I'm saying like what would you consider your worst shot in pickleball? Like if you had to guess one.
Forehand cross court dink, I would say.
Okay, so any competitors watching, there you go.
Yeah, it's spilling the beans over here.
I love it. All right, favorite pickleball pro to watch?
Myself?
I love it, dude. Don't even answer anything else. Don't answer anything.
That's ignorant. I can't. You know what? I'll say this, and kind of just a short little backstory. Because I do like this person. I think he gets probably number 2 for swaggiest on the court. I got to give it to Tyson. Oops, oh man. Sorry, Siri went off there. I think I've met Tyson kind of for the first time at Mesa, but I'd spoken to his wife before, Megan. She was super nice and cool with me, and I'd never really even met her too. She would just kind of say, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" Kind of, she had just seen me around, and very nice, respectful, and those two are just awesome. And like I said, we have a mutual buddy, Matthew. So when we kind of just clicked on that, and so I would say Tyson. And I really have a lot of respect for his game, and I'm happy to where he's at, and he's also on team Turner Grip. So we're kind of boys there.
I love it. If there's one pro that you haven't played yet, who is that pro that you would want to play? Like who is somebody that you look forward to playing in the future that you haven't seen yet?
Besides playing Ben again, Tyson.
Okay. So you have not actually seen Tyson on the court yet?
Not yet, no. Had I beaten Loong at Mesa for the finals of the backdraw, I would have got Tyson for third. So that would have been nice. And that was on center court, but oh well.
Awesome. I just saw Jesse Irvine threw in a comment. What is your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, so many. Jesse, sometimes when we used to play tennis or whatever, paddle, we used to always go after and watch horror movies. We've seen a few together, all of us as a group. Probably like the Conjuring series is good.
That is good.
One or two, I don't know, one or two. Any of those are really good. But I love horror. I'm a horror movie junkie, so I'll pretty much watch any of them. The Scream ones are classic. I would probably say the Conjurings are good. So any one of those.
I love it. All right, where do you live?
West Hills, California.
How long have you lived there? Like, have you been there for
whole life?
Okay, whole life. Perfect.
And fun fact, just a little side note. There was a hospital right up the street from my house called West Hills Hospital. And before, when I was actually born, it used to be called Columbia Hospital. So a little fun fact there.
I love it. That's good stuff. How would you describe your personality in one word?
Ooh. I would want to say like genuine, but I would kind of be like more like authentic. Authentic or like honorable, like either one of those.
Yeah, quick side note. When I did a little homework on you, and when I talked to Daniel Roditi, one of the stories he told me was that you're actually honest to a fault. That's actually his exact words, honest to a fault. He said there has been times when he's played with you where you will play a ball that is out, in his opinion, and then after the fact, he'll be like, "Hey man, I think that ball is actually out." Like, what is that about you that you'll just give the benefit of the doubt? Is that just your personality?
It is my personality. I'll say this, dude. Honesty is the best policy, and I love to give benefit of the doubt. Growing up playing tennis, man, and you see the one cool thing about playing tennis is since it is an individual sport, and even with sports in general, you see it doesn't just reveal who you are on the court; it really reveals who you are as a person. So I would say, just growing up, man, I was just like, if someone hits a good shot and I really had no chance of getting it, and even if it barely misses, it's like I'm giving you the point. It's like it's just respect. You hit a good ball, like I almost feel like a thief, trying to take it. A lot of times it's bit me in the ass, tennis, whatever, pretty much, any racket sport I've played. Even for example, like I played Fad when I was playing him in Mesa. I was up like 5-1. I'll never forget. I was up like 5-1 in the second game. I hit this cute little no-look shot that hits the tape. Fad wins a couple points. He hit like 2 shots that were like maybe out. And even he was like, "Oh, are you sure that was in, dude?" And I'm like, "Yeah, and it's, it actually, I ended up losing that game. And then I remember I took a timeout and Jesse's like, "Gabe, stop being like nice. Like, it's like you're beating yourself." You know what I mean? And it's just like you said, it's just kind of how I am as a person. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just benefit of the doubt, man. It's like, if you just hit something good, it's like, who am I to take that? You know, it's like, yes, people can be like, if it's out, it's out. And I totally get that. But, you know, if it's close, it's like, I'm just playing it. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. So
Yeah, and I think
that's,
I think in the culture of pickleball, like you gain respect that way. It's not that you're trying to be one way or the other, but like if you're on the honest side, like you gain that reputation. And if you're somebody that tries to screw other players out of close shots all the time, you'll also gain that reputation. So I would say, like, I think you're doing the right thing by being always erring on the side of honesty and caution, you know?
yeah. And like I said, man, it can come bite me in the ass, but also I'll say this, like I said, it's cool pickleball. You know, you get a lot of people that can play the sport, you know, even if they have no tennis background, but I would say a lot of the tennis etiquette is missing. So I've seen, man, being at these tournaments, some horrific calls, and mostly, you know, at the lower level. And that's not to, you know, disrespect anybody, but it's just like, I've seen some atrocious calls. And like I said, man, it just, whether they intentionally mean it or not, it shows a lot about you as a person. It's like, oh, well, outside is this willing, you know, person willing, like, you know, to cut some corners, to close on a deal, or, you know, that's something. So, you know, maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but to me, that's just how I kind of look at it. So, you know,
I love that. Don't ever change
just,
that about yourself, man.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, like I said, man, honesty is the best policy. So
That's a great quality, man.
you know,
I love it. All right, number 11 question. How would you describe your pickleball game in one word?
ooh, man, that's a good one. I don't want to say flashy. I would say, wow, that's a good one. Maybe like unpredictable. No, I don't. Unpredictable is not really a good one either. I don't know. That's a good one. Shit, you got
That
me
is
there.
good. I'll help you out a little bit. Jesse Irvine said electric. That's how she described your game in one word.
You know what? Yeah. Actually, I'll go on like that. Like energetic. I would say energetic. Yeah, electric, energetic. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was almost gonna say charismatic, but that's more like a personality trait, not a game trait.
Right.
But yeah, like energetic, electric. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and Cheese said flawless, so that's another good one. You've had that reference, like, dude, that's been like a theme throughout the whole interview, like flawless G.
Flawless G, baby. Dude, I might have to stick with. I might. You know what? Somebody asked me. I remember I did one of those question polls on Instagram like a year ago when it was first kind of like hyping up. Someone asked me, they're like, dude, what are you going to change your Instagram handle to? You can't be Baby Kyrgios forever. You know, what are you going to be, like midlife Kyrgios? And I'm like, man, I got to come up with something after. So
you do.
That might just be it. It might have to be Flawless G after.
I like the Flawless G. I tell you what, man, I do pro commentary for the PPA, and if I get a chance to commentate one of your pro matches, I might just call you Baby K and Flawless G all in the same regard.
Yeah, everyone knows me in the pickleball as Baby K. So it's like, I just got to run with it till now, and then I'll be flawless after.
I love it. All right, dude, look, we're at 2 hours and 52 minutes and 4 seconds. We got about 8 minutes left. Let's go through some of these. These are a little more in depth, but not too much. What do you look for in a pickleball partner? So like if you were picking a partner, what would the characteristics be that you would want to gel with you and how your style is?
You know what's funny, man? I'm pretty easygoing, which is, like I said, man, if I can pretty much partner up with anybody. Obviously I don't really want someone who's like negative or you know, just kind of too down on themselves, because I don't want to feel like I have to just kind of not carry you in a way, but it's like if I have to constantly pick you up and be like your freaking, you know, psychiatrist, it's going to be a problem. But like I said, I try to really, if it's just an organic bond relationship that we even have off the court, and almost like, not to be rude, it's like if you're good enough to play, then let's just play. You know, I have no problem doing that, win or lose, because, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, we're friends. But really just, man, I'll say this. I like just someone who's very competitive, because, you know, coming from tennis, and you even watch with the pros, sometimes you get guys that just kind of idolize the pros, like, oh my God. And then you just basically, almost want to lose, because you're like, oh, there's no way I can beat this guy. So if you're kind of one of those who like idolizes or like thinks you're not good enough to beat them, there's no way we're partnering up, you know, because like, for instance, like on paper, yes, I'm probably not going to beat Ben in dubs or Kyle or whoever, but it's like, I'm not going to say that, you know what I mean? So if I got a partner who kind of thinks that, or almost to a fault believes it, it's like, well, then like, what are we doing here? Like, we don't need to play together. Cause like I said, man, it's not to be cocky, but I just have a overwhelming sense of confidence, because you know, and you have to, you know what I mean? It's almost like, you know, when you watch the NBA players and they're like, oh, are you going to be back here for game 7 in the playoffs? It's like, what do you want me to say? No, we're gonna lose. Like, no shit, we're gonna be back here.
Yeah.
So that's just how kind of I look at it. So really, it's honestly, I don't really have too many off my checklist for partner wise, because like I said, man, I'm playing with a handful of people, mostly with Dan, but it's like, you know, I know Dan's competitive. You know, that's my partner up with him. He's very good. He's, you know, obviously in singles, man, he's not to be reckoned with. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, as long as you kind of just fill out as long as you fill out the charts like that, I have no issue. So, you know, I'm not going to play someone who's going to throw their toys out the crib and tank, you know, and I've seen that before with people who I'm not going to mention, but, you know, I'm not traveling to Atlanta or wherever, you know, for you to come tank on me. You know what I mean? Even though it's a free ride, it's like, you know, I could be doing something else. So,
man, I have seen, and I won't name any names either, but I've seen some pros walk off the court in a gold medal match, and I just can't respect that.
I've never seen that, but you know, not obviously I'm still kind of new, but it's like, yeah, I'm not putting up with that shit.
It's just there's no room for that in this sport, and really part of being a good partner, I feel like, is giving your all, even if you're down 10-0, like just knowing that you could come back. And I don't know if you've been down 10-0 and come back, and even in a rec game, but like it can happen. The game of runs absolutely happens in this.
Yeah. But like I said, man, too, it's just like I try to build, you know, these bonds. And like I said, some people I feel like partner, and it's just like I said, it's a business transaction. When we were talking off camera, it's like, you know, we'll just meet up there, we play kind of, and that's it, go our separate ways. It's like, no, like, I'm not saying we have to be buddy, but it's like when we're not playing, like, let's maybe sit together, you know, we don't have to be next to each other, but it's like kind of in the same vicinity, maybe talking, just something, you know, kind of just that presence, that vibe,
right.
You know, you're just
a good chemistry. Yeah.
Like I'm not just, you know, I'm not just going to, you know, like I said, man, just some business transaction where it's like, all right, show up there, let's just try to win and get out. And I'm not saying that is for some people, but you know,
for you, that's not your goal.
I'm not doing that. And like I said, man, earlier when we were talking, it's like, you know, being able to win with some friends, you know, whether, like I said, it was 4-5, 5-0, like those are memories I honestly cherish. Like that's just like, it's so much fun.
For sure.
So, you know, that's just like a little added bonus.
Love it. All right. Johnny Knack says favorite lefty. And actually that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you was, do you prefer playing with a lefty or a righty? So go ahead and answer this. And is there any significance to this question? I feel like that's like he's asking for a reason.
So favorite lefty, I haven't played with too many, so it would be Scott because he's lefty.
I didn't know that. Okay. What about Ryan Treffry? Have you played with Ryan Treffry?
Oh yeah, I played with Treff. Yeah, I mean, I like Treff as well. You know, both lefties. I do like playing with lefties only because I get you know, it's easier. I get the left side, and then now we got our forehands in the middle, so that's kind of nice and convenient. And even in tennis, like I like to play with lefties because, like I said, they throw me on the ad side. It's funny, man. I played mixed. I forgot who I was playing mixed with. It might have been Sue or somebody, and you know she's righty, and it might not have even been Sue, whoever it was. And we kept serving, you know, out of order because, like I said, I'm so used to like stacking and serving second that you know, we just messed up a couple times and lost points. So I do like playing with lefties, but as long as someone's cool with playing the deuce or, you know, the right, or I guess would be the left side if you're looking at the court. I'm cool with that. So it doesn't matter.
For sure.
Oh, and Julio. Yeah.
Johnny said Julio too, which you've mentioned Julio a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So Julio's a lefty, huh?
He's a lefty too. That's right. It's funny. How can I forget? There's only such few lefties.
Yeah, my girlfriend's actually a lefty, and her and I play really well together. It's just kind of, it works because I like to be on that left side as well. And if you have a lefty, that they automatically want to be on that right side. So it kind of works, you know?
Yeah, and then, you know, you got your forehands in the middle, and then it's like, you know, the percentage of people passing you up the line is very rare. So it's like, you know, you're kind of going in a trap when you're kind of going up that middle with a lefty righty. So I like it.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, look, dude, we're 2 minutes, and actually we're technically 3 minutes away from breaking Joe Tony's record.
You know, it's so funny, man. I can literally keep going on, and I know there's so much stuff we didn't even touch on.
But we got to save a little bit for a future interview, right? We don't want to give it all away right out of the gate. But like, dude, honestly, the 3 hours have flown by, and I will say I hope that you are right about the most viewed interview here because you have been fantastic, man. I mean, you've been just an absolute blast to talk to. I know off camera we talked for, I think, damn near an hour.
Yeah.
And not even on camera.
Well, you know, it's funny, man. It's like in this day and age, I know I'm not that old, but dude, I remember, back in the day, you used to have to call people to set up, play dates. And, I used to have my dad do it or whatever. And I'm honestly, I like to call on the phone and actually like talk to people. And I know that's kind of like almost like taboo nowadays. It's like, it must be something important if you're calling me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love, genuine just conversation. So,
You know what's funny? I mean, we got about 2 minutes before we break the record, and we'll wind it down. But like, just talking outside of pickleball and just real life, real quick. I feel like anytime that I've ever had any kind of controversy or confusion, it's been through text. And then
that's the worst.
And then if I have somebody that like misunderstands me or there's miscommunication, the best thing that I found to do is either go see them in person if they're local.
Yeah, that's how I'm an in person. Like,
yeah,
I like to call them keyboard warriors, dude. And you see it in pickleball form, whatever, just people going back and forth, and it's like
it just gets heated for no reason.
Yeah, it gets heated, but it's like you're sitting behind a screen, and I remember, man, someone was like actually talking some shit at me back in like January about they posted me on the California Open that I was going to be playing, so they're like, oh, Gabriel is registered to play. And this one guy, dude, I remember he was going hard. He's like, who is this guy? He's irrelevant. Let me know when he's won something relevant or some shit like that. And then I I didn't really care, but I was going back and forth with him because I was like, I got time, whatever. Let's just play this. And whatever, I ended up seeing the dude at Mesa, and he didn't say a word. And I'm just like, he's known for trolling. I don't even remember the dude's name, but it's just like, yeah, dude, you're just a goof, like just trying to be a keyboard warrior. Sometimes I even call him like a cell warrior. You know what I mean? Like if you're like in jail and you're like locked behind the cell, it's like, oh, you're not gonna say it. But now if I unlock it, now it's like, oh, okay, what are you gonna say?
Now you're not gonna say anything. Well, I don't know if it's the same guy, but Thomas Roberts was on here. I don't know if that's the same guy.
It was some older gentleman. I don't know. He actually apologized to me after Mesa.
Yeah. Well, what's funny? It's funny because I've had some, because I'm big on social media stuff and I'm always on there. So I've had some run-ins with people that I've never met before, and they form an opinion about me or whatever without even meeting me or getting to know me. And so I've gone round and round with some people, but then what I found interesting is that when I privately text them, like outside of like a public situation, they're actually pretty nice, and they respond better if you go to them privately. So that's kind of what I found. You either ignore them, or if you do go toe to toe with them, you got to do it on a private setting where you can kind of bring down the elevation of that. So hey, I know
what's so funny. Actually, Trev just texted me. He's like, yeah, it was Thomas Roberts or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess it was him. So.
No, it is. He was on. He's not been on any of my stuff, and all of a sudden he saw you being interviewed.
Is that the dude you blocked?
Yeah, that's the guy I blocked. Yeah, that's the guy I blocked.
Man, dude, that's funny. Yeah, dude. So I don't know what his deal is.
It's not specific to you. I can promise you. This guy is literally, his whole life is about trolling people on.
Yeah.
And honestly,
you know what? And so I didn't mean to cut you off, but like one thing I've learned, like in my young life is like, dude, like Drake says this, but he's like, a wise man once said nothing at all. And it's like, dude, sometimes you can't give people energy, time, because that's what they want from you. They want you to respond and give in. And it's like, if you do that, you let them win. It's a lose-lose basically, but it's like, you really can't say anything.
That's right.
And, just your time and energy, it's not worth it,
Yeah. And that's what I was saying about when I just blocked him and removed the comments, because it wasn't bringing any value to what we are doing. Right. Like if he has a comment, I'm not gonna ignore a comment. But when you're
it's just nonsense.
Trashy, it's nonsense. It's stuff that doesn't bring value, and that's why, because you and I take 3 hours of our time, I definitely don't want to devalue what we're doing. And a guy like that guy, he's just not worth even entertaining. But it's odd that we brought him up and it's the same guy, because that guy, I've had some run-ins with him in the past, and he's absolutely just tried to trash me without ever even knowing who I am. So it's funny that we both had that common person.
It's just weirdo, goofy shit. You just gotta let it be. It's like, just don't pay him no mind. And like I said, man, I had seen him at Mesa. I mean, I didn't actually interact with him, but he saw me. He didn't say a word. And it's funny, actually, Warnick pointed him out because we were actually sitting in like the little player section in the back.
Warnick did.
And Warnick's like, dude, that was the guy who was talking shit to you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I mean, what am I gonna go to talk to the dude? Like, I could care less.
Yeah.
So that's just he's Twitter fingers. So just you gotta let him be.
Yeah, and absolutely, man. And what's funny, and this is the last thing, because we absolutely broke the record. We're at 3 hours and 3 minutes, and 45 seconds. So we'll get off here shortly. But the last thing I was going to say is like, usually when somebody's talking crap, I'll go look at the first thing I do before I ever respond is I go look at their pickleball record. Well, I just look at their pickleball record. Like, are they signed up for tournaments? Did they play in some tournaments? And what level? And most of the time, they're like 3-0, 3-5.
3-0, 3-5, yeah. Just someone with they want to throw in their 2 cents.
Yes, and it's like, why are you even talking about like stuff that you really aren't even confident about talking about?
Yeah, you're not certified to even talk about it.
Exactly, exactly. Right. Hey, look, I can pick up on cues. You're somebody's over in your.
Oh no, it's my parents. They were just leaving.
Oh, okay.
No, we're good, man. I'm dude. Like I said, I could still go another hour and keep talking.
I love it.
Because I mean, I do know you were. I felt like because we didn't touch on the electrum and the clothes or like the gun stuff. But
no. I want to talk about that. What's the deal with those shirts, because they do stand out? Like, talk about that. I do want to know about that.
Yeah. So like I said, man, I tried to just support, small business, and my buddy Anthony has that gun company. It's called Gun Athletics, and it's a tennis and like lifestyle apparel. But anyways, a few players on the ATP tour wear the clothes. If you watch dubs, like John Julian Roger wears it.
Okay.
A few other pros wear it. They're a little lower ranked, but they also wear it. I forgot their names. But anyways, man, it's just cool stuff. It's graphic, and not to like diss Tyson or Tyler or anybody. Like, it's just the Nike stuff is cool, but it's like it's just kind of generic to me in a sense. And like, I don't mind people wearing like the Onyx stuff or whatever, but to me it's almost like uniform. So I just like to kind of just stand out, and I think it looks cool. And like I said, he kind of sponsors me, but I also support him and still buy stuff as well. It's not like I'm just freeloading like, dude, sponsor me, and it's just really cool stuff. I got some jackets, man, that like I haven't whipped out yet, but
speaking of that,
dude, Jessie got her own personal jacket from
I saw that.
Yeah. Well, she got the Scarface one, but she also has her own like personal one that's it's off the chain. I was jealous. I'm like, dude, Jessie, like, I didn't get the memo. Where's mine? Like,
I love it, man. And I don't know if Jessie's been watching this whole 3 hours and 6 minutes, but dude, she's all over the comments with this, like every time she hears it. So I feel like she's I call her, like, I call the people that watch from start to finish, they're called super troopers. I call them super troopers. And like, I feel like Jessie's a super trooper for this one, man.
Man, I told you, Scott, see how I get on here for you, man?
Dude, honestly, I always kind of, when you were talking at some points, I kind of put you up on the screen. I was kind of side texting Jessie a little bit. I was like, why don't you come on real quick and like go live with us? Like, I think it would be awesome. And she was like,
Jessie, if you're watching, hop on.
Yeah, no, she was totally like, not this time, Golden Boy, but maybe next time. So
we'll have to do another one then.
Yes, that is absolutely motivation to bring you back on, and we will. We'll remember what I told you, I think off camera, was like, if the next time you have like a big win over a top player, or the next tournament where honestly maybe we do something a little different, where the next time I see you at like nationals or something, we sit down under the lights at Indian Wells Tennis Garden and do a live interview together.
Yeah, no, that'd be dope.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, and maybe we could just pull Jessie in live, like right there.
I'll just snag her. I'll be like, dude, Jessie, you gotta hop in here.
I love it. We'll get Jeff Warnick on one side and Jessie on the other.
Oh man, dude, that'll be a circus for sure.
I love it. And actually, look, Jessie just confirmed. She said she has been a super trooper for the interview the whole time. So she's awesome, man. Like, listen, I don't even know Jessie personally. Like, as far as me, I've never met her. Well, I've met her, but like, let me say this: I don't get to hang out with Jessie all the time. But dude, she seems super cool to me. Like, she just seems like the type of person that you want to.
Man, like I was telling you earlier, man, a lot of people ask me, man, she can seem a little standoffish at first, but dude, she got a big heart. She's really down to earth and is a really nice, caring person. And like I said, man, like her, Scotty, Julio, those people, like I said, man, like we're all family. Like I have, not to keep re-harping it, but like I have real life conversations with these people, stuff that I go through in my life personally. We'll talk about whatever, stocks, whatever, just tennis, whatever,
not just specifically pickleball.
Yeah, but we also talk about like some real life stuff. And like, I credit her specifically because like I remember when I was just I had a little situation, and I remember we just like we kind of sat in the car and just like, talked, and she just kind of, reassured me some things. And yeah, man, just like those people I really, just have a lot of care and respect for. So yeah, we definitely got to get on the show though, for sure. But
definitely. No, my life goal is to get Jessie on.
Coachable and cool. You just got to get to know her.
I love it, man. I love it. Okay. Jennifer Wojcicki Doolittle says cheese as appetizer, and Jesse owes me another prom pick. Not sure what that's all about, but I love that. So like, I don't feel like cheese has been like a super trooper the whole time. I don't think she's been on the whole time, but she's definitely been crashing like the second half of the interview, which I love. I love it.
No, it's funny. I think she's like famous for doing like the prom pics with everybody because I always see him, I think, on like Facebook or Instagram or something. So I think that's like her thing. She does like a prom pic with everybody she gets a pic with, but she hasn't gone with me, so I'm not that special.
I tell you what, I assume she'll be at nationals. I think you need to get a prom pic with her, and I need to get one as well. Like we need to get that done because
Sure.
I want to meet Cheese. Like I hear nothing but good stuff about her, and I'm not saying this again. I don't say this stuff because you're on. Like I have literally heard nothing but good stuff about anybody that's ever played with her, who's been around her, who's hung out with her. She seems like a vibrant personality. I mean, is that safe to say?
Yeah, like I said, I met her at West Regionals once, and super cool person. Like I said, I never even met her before, and she was just super off the rip, just genuine and just caught a vibe. So yeah, super cool person. She's awesome.
I love it. And Johnny Knack, like I'm gonna go ahead and call Johnny a super trooper as well, because I feel like this dude's been on here like at least 2.5 hours of the 3 hours, but maybe I don't know, maybe he can comment. But Johnny said Jessie has a great outlook on life and the world. So I agree. I think she does. I think she's got a great presence. And dude, her eyes, there's something about her eyes. They're like crystal blue. They don't even look real. Are those, Jessie, are those your real eyes?
Is that your real name, Jesse?
Is it? I don't even know.
She's definitely, she's got like one of the best eyes I've seen for sure. But that's like big sis, so that's fam.
I love it. Speaking of Jessie, real quick again, is Jessie, in your opinion, is she the hardest hitting female in the game, or would you say she's top 3?
For sure. No, number 1. And I'm not just saying. Well, actually, I am a little biased, but like I said, dude, if you've seen her hit a tennis ball, dude, holy shit! And I've been on the receiving end of getting pegged. Like it leaves a mark. No, she hits the ball hard. It's and it's funny because she like the trajectory of how her ball is. It's kind of got like barely any clearance, but it's a bullet. And dude, but she's just got the technique. I mean, she played freaking professional tennis, so she certified. So
yeah, I mean, she was on the tennis channel doing like videos, so she's
yeah. But yeah, and honestly, coming to think of it, like I've seen Simone play a handful. Like I haven't seen Corinne play. Obviously, I've played with and seen Michelle play, but I think Jessie hits the ball the hardest for sure. I mean, I don't know anybody else that comes to mind unless I'm missing somebody.
No, dude, I played games with her, and when she was next to me hitting the ball, when she drove like either her forehand or her backhand, it had a different sound. The ball just came off the paddle so different.
That engaged paddle must be loaded or something. We got to check.
I think it's loaded. Loaded.
It's like a baseball bat. It's like it got something in there in the cork.
I love it. Jessie said, yes, those are my real eyes. So she confirmed those are her real eyes. And I think her real name is Jessie, just for the record.
No, I know. I'm just giving her a hard time.
Yeah. Kevin Anthony said, this is great right here. This interview is way longer than Baby K has ever lasted in a poker tournament.
Oh, go to sleep, Kevin. It's like 7:00 in Arizona. Go to sleep.
Are you guys gonna play tonight? Is there a poker game tonight?
Oh man, I'm still on tilt from yesterday, so I might have to sit this one out tonight.
What were the results of last night? You didn't finish in the top.
I got 4th. I went all in pre-flop with some pocket queens, and I lost to Daniel. I think he had King Jack, and it's funny actually. I had a bunch of outs. I think there was 3 to the straight out there, so I just needed one more card because he had a better pair than me. But I lost. But that's just the way the game's designed. It's like it's just meant for bad beats. But
I need to get in on a couple of these poker games.
Well, dude, it's funny. You'll know 3/4 of the people in there because they're all pickleball people. So
let's go, man. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to slide you. Actually, Kevin's like the poker director, so
all right, Kevin, get me in.
He'll slide you in there.
Just one game.
Yeah, he'll take your money for sure. So
I love it. All right, Johnny Knack. Man, these guys are all over this. Johnny says, I've been here since 12 seconds in. Gabe's awesome and can't wait to see what he brings after we get back. Yeah, dude, Johnny Knack's been here. I think so. He is a super trooper. Dude's got nothing but good stuff to say about you. I love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to log in on my phone and see like all the questions and stuff right now.
Dude, it's crazy. You've gotten so freaking many questions.
Yeah,
Jesse
that's awesome.
said sniper, so she just
Sniper gang. Yeah, dude, I call it like American Sniper because, like I said, man, dude, those things are bullets. Like she's what's the word? She's just accurate with it, you know. Like it's almost like that red emoji, you know, with like the arrow in it. She's just, you know, she's got the bullseye.
I love it. And let's see. Oops, I skipped over. Scott Crandall said, "Does she hit harder than you, Gabe?" I mean, he wants to know.
All right, you know what's funny, and I'm not just saying this because it's me. I say yes, but Warnick has actually said I hit harder than her. So that's you know, you can check my files. Warnick confirmed it himself. You know, he's the Judge Judy of this. So, but I will bountifully, you know, let her hold that crown. I have no problem with that.
Well, if nothing else, she's got prettier eyes than you for sure, so she wins in that regard either way. So
I would have to agree there. I'll bountifully, you know, she can have that. But
I love it.
That's a dub she can take.
I love it. Okay, so she says Kevin, Treff, and I started the poker group. Golden Boy invite on the way. So I love it. Thanks, Cheese. Appreciate your love. And I would love to I don't even know how to play poker that well, but it'd be fun for you guys to take my money just one time.
No,
all right.
it's all a good time. Oh, man, I'm going to argue with Warnick now.
Dude, you just started a firefight right there. I'm pretty
She's going to get on the phone and call him up and just have a back and forth.
I wish Warnick would just come on right now and let's just end this debate right now, here and now, live.
I'll drag him on there. How she dragged me to the pickleball court. I'll get them both on there.
I love it. Actually, look, Johnny said, damn, Warnick just left. He was super trooping it too, though. So he was all in until the last few minutes. We actually, at our peak, we had about 65 people, and which is really good. That's probably the most I've had watching it any time. And you were steady with it. You had about 50 steady. And then now we're about 17. So you've gotten a good group here. But
that's awesome. That's awesome. And like I said, man, I think by the time this is over, I think this is going to have a lot of views. I feel like so.
Oh no, absolutely, dude. You got nothing but love from everybody in the pickleball community. The reason I do these interviews, man, and I told you this off camera, I don't do them for my sake, for my benefit. I do them because I want to showcase guys like you, guys that are into the pickleball scene, who I feel like are going to make an impact. And you're one of those guys, man. I got to see some footage of you, and you're just a rock star, man. The more you
man, I seriously appreciate that. And like you and I were speaking earlier, it's like, I'm not gonna say I was butthurt, but like not being included in the top 35, it's like, for instance, like you didn't even know me, and you're like, yeah, dude, let's do an interview. So, you know, just kind of going where you're celebrated, not tolerated. It's just like, I appreciate that. And like I said, no knock on them. Like, you know, for instance, Wes tuned in, and like I heard nothing but good things about Wes. I think he's a school teacher, and you know, like I said, my buddy Michael knows him. I heard nothing but good things, and I get it. You know, the panel might not have known me, but you know, just being included, like I said, getting that just nod on the hat would have been you know, cool. But you know, hey,
it's coming.
I get to sit here with the Golden Boy instead, so that's right. That's a W in my book.
Yeah, and I have the privilege of saying that this is the first interview live that you've done with anybody in the pickleball world, right? So I get that privilege.
Ever. This is really my first interview. This is really my first interview ever, unless it was like for school or something, you know.
I love it. No, and the truth is, man, the other reason I do these is because, like, I like to think about stuff in a big picture, right? A macro scale. And I'm looking at 10, 15 years down the road when you're a legend in the sport, right? And I get the privilege of people going back and watching these on YouTube years from now, right? And saying,
we're gonna have a series by then.
Yes. And they're gonna say, remember that interview that the Golden Boy did with Baby K back when there was the pandemic, the coronavirus? Like, dude, this might be, honestly, because this is such a weird time in our life for everybody, like this might go down in history as one of the best interviews ever. So definitely better than Joe Tony's, right? I mean, right?
Oh, man, shout out to Joe, but yeah, man, this is a little better than yours. I'm sorry, my man.
I love it. I love it.
And, you know, and if Joe's watching, dude, I'm still waiting for my character, you know, pickleball, like Mortal Kombat thing. So, dude, you gotta hop on that. You know, what's up?
Yeah, and I think it's coming, man. I think it's coming. He usually, to be honest, Joe kind of lets me in a little bit just before he releases them. So if that happens, I'll shoot you a quick text and let you know.
Yeah, if he needs like, you know, some wardrobe, you know, like ideas, dude, just let me know. You know, I got you. So
you need to send him one of those gun shirts that is your size and let him put that bad boy on. I think that would be epic.
Oh man, does he fit a kid's XL or?
No, but he could probably make it work for the video.
No, man. Yeah, no, he's super cool, dude. And I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to unfollow the pickleball forum just because there's just too much kind of mumbo jumbo. But occasionally people repost stuff and I see, and it's like his actually made me laugh. And Randy Coleman's like news update isn't bad either. I'll give him that. It's
pretty good.
somewhat entertaining.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and then like I know like Eddie and Webby do their thing, so shout out to them too. I would like to do an interview with them too as well, but I literally think they don't know me at all. So
I can get you hooked up with them. They're great guys, man. They've always been very supportive of what I do, and I've always showed them a lot of love and support too. So
I'll say this. I got to give them a little hard time about their pickleball mashup videos. Those need a little work. So if they need some bars, Flawless G will hop in the booth and help them out there because I think they need a little help.
Speaking of that, Johnny Knack said Gabe's vernacular is spectacular. Listen to him flow. Just on a serious note, do you have anything out there in the social media world or like on YouTube or Facebook or anything of you rapping or anything?
No, I don't. I should. It's funny. Honestly, I maybe when I'm older, I would like to get like in the music game, but I think I would be more. As much as I would like to think I could or want to rap, it's not going to happen. But I think I would be a good behind the scenes type person. But no, man, it's funny. I had a buddy, one of my dad's good family friends, who's actually he kind of does something with like Dane does. He's a good mental coach, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, you need to do a podcast. You talk good, blah blah. And he's like, not only you should do that when you're on the road traveling for pickle, he's like, endorse whatever you're using in every city, blah, blah. He's just giving me some game. And I'm like, yeah, I should do it. And I was funny. I was going to get the equipment for Christmas and it was just one of those, I just, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I started looking into it and then I kind of just went in one ear and out the other. But I definitely, I do want to do it. I think I would be kind of good like how you do, just interview, just flowing and chopping it up with people. And it's just fun. It's fun to just pick people's brains and kind of, just get a kind of perspective of their life. And
it is, man. It's why I do what I do. I mean, I love getting to know the pros in our sport, but also just getting to know you guys as people. I mean, finding out what makes you tick and stuff like that. That stuff's important, and it gives the average player some insight to you guys as well, which is another reason I do it.
Yeah, I gave away all my weaknesses today. So
you did.
When I play whatever Tyson or someone is going to be hitting into my forehand, I'll be like, oh shit, shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, but you already know this, but the pros, dude, it takes them all of about 3 shots to figure out people's weaknesses. So they already knew. They already knew, right?
Nah, but yeah, man, dude, it's funny too. Like, I'm not a big TV guy. I watch literally every day. Like I'm sure, like I watch like the Breakfast Club, Joe Rogan. I literally watch those guys like every day. So I'm big, like I just like watching interviews, just mostly because I like to kind of not only learn from people's mistakes, but just like I said, man, get perspective on how people kind of think and just their way of how their mind works, and how, because everyone views things differently,
Right.
So
well, one thing you told me in the pre-talk before we went live was that you always try to take yourself out of your shoes and go look at the situation from a neutral perspective, and I think that's so valuable in life. I think that's such a wise and mature thing for somebody to do, even at 23 years old. So kudos to you, man, for having that.
Yeah, man. It's actually, and since you spoke on that, it's like I remember I got to credit one of my high school English teachers, Miss Collins. She actually, I remember we were writing like a paper, and she was just talking about perspective and stuff. And it's like, I really kind of learned after that. It's like, it's really just not about just your point of view. You really got to take yourself out of your shoes, and it's not even necessarily put yourself in their shoes, which you should as well. But it's also kind of just from a neutral standpoint, because like you said, a lot of issues, man, can just be handled by a conversation. But when people just kind of view it from just their point, from that kind of negative confrontational view, it's like, oh well, nothing's gonna get solved here. And I'm more solution oriented, so
for sure,
it just is what it is.
No doubt, man. All right, Stan Sunil says hello. He just joined, I think. So just want to give him a quick shout out. And the last thing, I think this is going to be the closing remarks. Deke Marshall said, great long interview. Thanks, gents. Now go take a break. And I think that's a great way to wind this down. Man, I got to tell you, I've appreciated your time. We blew the record out of the water with 3 hours and 23 minutes.
Yeah, man. I was going to say we might as well just stop at an even 3:30 if you want. We're almost there.
Let's just go till the 3:30 mark, just so we can ensure that nobody's going to break that record. So
yeah, and you know what though, since we actually didn't touch about it, and I know we could definitely in the next interview, but it's actually important we talk about it. Just about Electrum in general. And,
go ahead. I'm going to put you on right here.
It was kind of cool. I met Shelton at West Coast Classic back in April of last year. And he was actually good friends with Jesse, because I think Jesse had gone down and played some tournaments in Utah, whatnot. And You know, it's funny, actually, Shelton, I'd won the singles in the 4-5, and they wouldn't let me play 5-0 for whatever reason. I think my ranking was too low or something. And someone actually backed out, and I tried to play 5-0. I was asking the tournament director, I'm like, dude, can you just throw me in there anyways? And he's like, can't do it. But anyways, Shelton actually reached out and was trying to sign me, actually kind of right out the gate. And then he's like, you know what, actually, let me send you a paddle, try it out, and, you know, we'll go from there. And then we actually, Scotty and I won the Santa Barbara. Then we played the 5-0. We lost to Dan in the finals, which I'm sure he remembered because we were up like 14-10, had match points, and we never got over that one for a while. But anyways, we had some good results, and then they ended up signing us, both Scotty and I. And yeah, man, they've been nothing but really just, you know, Mo Heath and the whole team. They've been nothing but great to us. And I'm blanking out real quick what I was gonna say, but yeah, man. I was gonna say about the paddle. Yeah, so obviously, you know, people kind of ask me like, you know, why the Electrum? You know, how do you like it? Blah blah. And I'll say this, you know, coming from tennis, and I used to work at a tennis shop. I know all about tennis rackets and stuff, and really, obviously, it's key what you use. But you know, when I was using the Selkirk, for example, it was really nice and kind of, it had a nice feel to it, but I felt like it didn't have a lot of power. And you know, when I switched over to the Electrum, and I think what separates it from most, it has a lot of pop, and it's pretty plush, and it sinks in the paddle pretty well. And you know, I love it, man. And you know, I'm not the most well diverse, you know, in speaking on it, but it's just because I haven't used that many, you know, compared to others. But it's like, you know, I'm not just saying it because I like the paddle, but it definitely has the most pop out of anything I've ever used for sure.
Yeah.
And
No,
yeah, it's just,
do you throw a Turner grip? Do you throw Turner grip on?
Yeah. So shout out to Abby, I think her last name is Brunel from Turner Grip. She sponsors me, and they just sent me a couple tennis grips because I use an extended length racket, so I needed some XL grip, and yeah, they sponsor me, and I've been using Turner since I was like 10. I think I have a couple like throwback photos. I kind of want to post one day on my Instagram. It's actually me using you know, like Rafa's racket, and I have Turner grip on there, and it's like, oh, you know, it's like I actually used to use it, you know, so it's like it's just kind of cool.
That's awesome, man. Talk about shoes real quick. A lot of people have questions on the Pickleball forum about shoes and what shoes to wear. I noticed in some of your pictures you have a shoe on, but I couldn't tell what brand or what it was. Do you have a particular shoe that you like to use? Yeah,
so I've always been, I'll say this, my dad growing up was a little frugal, so he used to kind of just buy me like a good shoe, but kind of cheaper end. And then, like I said, when I started working at a tennis shop called Net Results, no, not Converse, Jesus Christ. Oh man, it's like the 8th. No, when I started working at a tennis shop and I used to get a nice little discount, I really started to treat myself. And then I just used to use the Nike Air Max cages, which like Delpo uses. I think Rafa uses them now, a bunch of the pros. But really, I just wear those specifically because they have the 6-month durability guarantee. So, because I wear out through shoes quick, you know, with all the sliding and stuff. So it's funny, my shoes I'm actually wearing from Mesa, like I already burnt through them. I got to send them back.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, so I use the Air Max cages. I think they're the 4s now. And but you know, like there's a lot of good shoes out there. There's like the A6 Gel Resolution. There's the Adidas Barricade. I'm just a Nike head. I've always been like, if you've seen it, I only post a few kind of not in sport attire, but if you see them, I'm always wearing some Jordans, like some retros. So I'm a big sneakerhead, but I've always been a Nike guy. I'm not an Adidas guy, so I don't really wear Adidas. I'm not an Asics guy, so I'm a Nike head at the core. So I always wear the cages, but yeah, man, like the shoes are critical though, you know, especially like for someone like me that just moves like crazy. You really got to make sure, you know, you got something good on. And
do you wear insoles or do you just wear the regular?
People ask me that all the time, and actually Jessie was harping on me. She was like, dude, go to Foot Locker, get the $30 insoles, and they have like a warranty. I just never done it. You know, it's just like I said, man, really for me, my shoes only last like, if I'm lucky, 2 months max. So it's like I'm already burning through them so fast. I'm just rotating, and I'm still young. I don't have any, you know, physical issues, so it doesn't make a difference for me, to be honest. So I'm kind of lucky in that aspect. So that's awesome. I don't.
That's awesome. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Because we got about 2 minutes. Let's just, for the next 2 minutes, talk about like just some of your goals with pickleball. Like, what do you want to accomplish over the next, you know, 6 months to a year? Do you have any specific goals?
Yeah. So actually, you know, to be completely honest with you, when my contract was up with Electrum in December of this past year, 19, you know, we kind of had to do a write up, you know, to Mo Heath, just kind of like, you know, what are your goals? You know, blah, blah, blah. What do you want to do? You know, when we were kind of negotiating. And I literally wrote like this whole essay. I was like, you know, I want to be, you know, top 5. I said top 10 singles, but really, I want to be top 3 would be the goal. Like I said, dude, Ben and Tyson are just, not saying I can't beat them. They're so established, and they've put in the hard yards already. So, if I can get to 3 would be nice. Would be kind of, unfortunately, since the Corona hit, would be, I guess, like 3 is kind of my goal now. Like depending when we get back to the sport. But obviously, I remember, not to get off topic, but someone asked me on the, I think it's National Pickleball, whatever. They asked me like a long time ago, like 6 months ago, whatever, what are your favorite artists, whatever, what do you want to see yourself? And I'd said, I want to be number 1. But, like I said, man, I'm a high believer, good energy and just kind of speaking things into existence. So, 1 would be nice, obviously, but I'll settle for 3. 3's cool,
Yeah, man, if you could make it to top 3, I mean, look at the tennis world even, right? Like some of the big names have never been number 1, but they're still really well known. They make a lot of money in the sport, and they're
dude, I'll tell you that, dude, a lot of those guys, like, they always ask the pros. I remember like on Tennis Channel, it's like, oh, would you rather be number 1 or have a slam? It's like, they always say slam. And it's like, I'm in the same boat, man. You look at a guy like Andy Roddick, he obviously got to number 1, but I think he won 1 or 2 slams, lost to Roger, 3-4 times at Wimbledon. And it's like, everyone says he was in the wrong era, but it's like, dude, if I can have a career like that, or, a Murray, whoever, someone who's just consistently solid, like I'm cool with that. It's not just, I'm not saying that to settle. It's just like, Ben, kudos to him. And I don't even know Ben at all like that. It's just, dude, the guy is really good, along with Tyson.
so
And
good.
those 2 have just been grinding it out. So it's like, and like Scotty, like, I told you, man, like Scott keeps it real with me. He's like, dude, there's those 2 and there's everybody else. So, he's like, I can totally see you at that 3rd spot, so it's just a matter of you kind of getting there. So that's kind of my goal.
I love it. All right, last comment, and then we're going to jump off because we just broke the record again. Jesse said, Gabe, what's your motto? Do you have a motto?
Oh my God. Hold on. Is Jesse trying to say this like sarcastically? Is this something I've said, or is this
I don't know. I'm
man.
because
Because like Scotty says, I use so much slang and stuff. I'll say some dumb shit. What's my motto? I don't know. Get rich or die trying. No, I'm just kidding. What's my motto?
Do you have one? I mean, if you don't, then just say I don't have a motto.
You know what? I'll say this. And shout out to my mom for this. I'll always say this. Like my mom's literally like the female version of me. I always kind of say that she's just gonna be 47, but like she's almost like my sister as well. And she's super fiery, Colombian blood. And she always tells me, she's just like, in life, she's like, do something right or don't do it at all. And as basic or cliche as that sound, it's like, I really like it just transcends with me, because it's like, that's true. It's like, don't half-ass shit. And that's just kind of the way I was kind of raised, I would say. It's like, if I commit to doing something, it's like, yeah, I stay true to my word. I keep my promises. And, it's just, I remember, like, not to get off topic again, but I remember taking this GE course, like my sophomore year of college. It was like some leadership trust course, whatever it was. And it was just like talking about like the 4 ways, to develop trust in a person. And it's like, keep your promises seriously, be kind of predictable in your behavior. And I forgot the other 2, but it's just like, I kind of use that. And it's just like, like you said, you asked a bunch of people and they kind of just vouched for me and said like, Gabe is nice, honest dude. So, just live your truth and just, do something right or don't do it at all. There's just, like I said, man, this sport individually says a lot about you as a person. So it's like, if you're willing to cheat, cut corners, it says a lot about you outside the court, whether you think it or not. And I'm kind of victim of it. I mean, like I said, man, I get fiery on the court. Sometimes I cuss and stuff, and I know I shouldn't, but like I said, just me being emotional, and I just care so much about, the game. So it gets the best of me sometimes. But that's kind of like my motto would be, just do something right or don't do it at all.
I love it, man. That's good stuff. I think that's a great way to end this interview, just going out on a high note like that. Man, 3 hours and 33 minutes is the record officially.
That flew.
You're a beast, baby. You're a beast. You
brought it. And yeah, man, dude, it's like, man, dude, I can't thank you enough, because like you said, man, you were just taking a gamble. You're like, I was assuming, like, when I asked you to do the interview, you're probably like, who is this Gabe dude? Like, and then you got to go check my file, on Pickleball, whatever, the records. And you're like, all right, this dude, he's got some wins, whatever. But, and like you said, man, I kind of look like, kind of a douchebag. So you're like, like, oh man, you're like, who's this fucking guy?
Wasn't the word that I.
No, but you know what I mean? You're like, all right, man, this kid might be like a little, whatever, like a little punk. So you're like,
little hot shot.
Yeah, you're like, what am I getting myself into? So, I really appreciate you letting me on. And, man, no better way to do the first interview. So,
Dude, you did it with the best, man. You went straight to the top. As far as I'm concerned, the Golden Boy Pickleball interviews are the best in the business. So you went right out of the gate. But man, again, thank you for your time. I thank you for your generosity in the sport.
Of course.
I think at 23, you're just like a Ben Johns. You're wise beyond your years. I think that's why people like Jeff Warnick, Jesse Irvine, Kevin Anthony, all these people, whoever has been on here, Trev, all these guys, because they realize how special you are. And I think we're going to look back on this interview in years from now and realize that this is a special interview.
Yeah, man. And to anybody I forgot, man, it's all love. I really do. Anybody that sends me a message or, says anything, whatever, comments on my post, whatever, I really do appreciate that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying it. And, when I do my posts and include people in there, I really try to, thank everybody. And if I miss anybody, I really do, appreciate you guys. And, like I said, I got to get better too at like supporting, my peeps as well. It's just, you know how it is. These tournaments, it gets clustered.
Oh my gosh, such a cluster.
Yeah. So it's all love, man. It's just, just keeping it genuine and authentic. So
I love it. All right, man, people keep commenting. Tommy said, record-breaking interview. Yeah, baby, let's go.
Yeah, so shout out to Tommy, man. He hit me up yesterday too, man. A lot of love, so I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Actually, I'm going to post a picture after the interview of what he sent me before the interview, which he took a watermelon and carved out Golden Boy in the watermelon. It's freaking ridiculously good. Like, dude's talented, seriously. So I'm going to post that.
That's dope. And yeah, you know what, man? But actually, before we wrap up, if you can give me or whatever, I'll have her hit me up. I definitely want to support the girl who has the paddle company. Would be
Rebel Sports. Yeah, that's I'll definitely get you all that contact info. She's great. Johnny Knack says, "Go Gabe, go Scott, great work, dude." I like Johnny Knack. I'm gonna have to get
that out to Johnny. Bad pickleball, baby.
Bad pickleball, baby. Let's go. And then Tommy said, "Took me longer to carve the melon than it did for us to do the interview." So, dude, again, so much love and appreciation for you and just what you're doing. 23 years old, going to be a top name in our sport. If you guys are watching this still, it looks like there's still 17 people strong. Write this dude's name down if you haven't heard of him before. He's going to be at the top of the list. I promise.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting at 24 right now in the ranking. So, give me a little time. I'll be up there.
You'll be up there. You just got to get into more tournaments, man. That's all it really comes down to.
Exactly, yeah.
I think you need to make priority, make pickleball a priority over the next year. And I think end of 2020, going into 2021, everybody's going to know your name. Also convince Jesse Irvine to play doubles with you in mixed. I think that would be a huge boost.
You got to talk to her agent on that one. I don't think Warnick would be too happy. Although Warnick was pressing her. She's like, you should play a small one with Gabe. And I'm down. I think it would be, like I said, man, winning with friends, it would be super dope. And I think we could definitely do it. So I'd be down to play a little one. I don't care, whatever. It's a local tournament. I'd be super down. So
I know what needs to happen. I know exactly what needs to happen. You need to convince Jesse to come to the East Coast, play mixed doubles with you, and me and you can play a doubles tournament, small one on the East Coast. There you go. It's done deal.
There we go. Yeah, no, man. That would be sick. And she knows me well enough. She'll keep me in check. So
Absolutely. I love it. All right, dude. Let's get off this thing. 3 hours and 37 minutes is the official record. You've been great, man. I appreciate you so much.
No, thank you so much, Scotty. This was an honor, man. And hopefully when it's over, if it's not, we'll hop on another one and and shoot the shit. I got no problem doing it. All we got is time right now.
Don't you worry, buddy.
So,
all right, man. All right, guys. That was a wrap up with Gabe Joseph, AKA Baby K. All kinds of nicknames. Spider. He had all kinds of nicknames on there going on. But listen, guys, I want you guys to realize how special of an interview that was with Gabriel. He's just a guy who pours his heart and soul into everything he does. He's clearly got a big following. I mean, this dude is drawing people in like Jesse Irvine, Jeff Warnick, and all these big names. I mean, it's incredible to see that. The dude's got nothing but love and support. The only dude that was trashing him was the guy that I blocked. And obviously that guy has nothing good to say about anybody. So he's done. He's out. He has no place on my interviews. And I normally don't make a habit of deleting comments and blocking people. But a guy like that has no value in my interviews. So But I do want to thank again Electrum and everything that Electrum has done for all their sponsored players like Gabe and just anybody that has had dealings with Electrum Pickleball, and Mo Heath or Shelton or anybody like that knows that whole organization is first class. And so just want to give them one last shout out. And if you guys have any further questions, feel free to throw them on the comments. I'm sure Gabe will be checking the interview questions after, so he'll be happy to answer those, I'm sure. So, all right, guys, 3 hours and 37 minutes was the official record. That is the new record with Gabriel Joseph, AKA Baby Kyrgios. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Actually, look here, Johnny Knack said, great energy, Scott. Hope to see more soon. Stay safe. Johnny Knack, thanks so much, man. Send me a private message, Johnny. I want to follow up with you, find out more about your business and what you're all about. So love getting to know people in the pickleball community that show just love and support for the people that they care about. So, all right, Johnny, thanks for your comments and everything, man. And again, thanks to Gabriel Joseph for all that he did today. 3 hours and 37 minutes is a haul. That's a big deal. So you guys take care and stay safe. We'll see you at the next interview. Thanks, guys.